Well, hello, sensual piano keys. You sound incredibly inspirational and motivational. Big announcement coming from our company. You know, throughout my entire life, I've made decisions that people have said, ooh, that is stupid. You've read about them, you heard about them. When I was in high school, I went to an underground poker game, won $1,400, flew myself down to Miami, won a kicking contest, and got a scholarship to West Virginia the next day. I turned my back on soccer that day. Everybody said, you're an idiot. Why are you doing that? You have more schools looking at you for soccer than you do for football. What are you thinking? Fast forward 8 years with the Indianapolis Colts, and I was on top of the world, top of the mountain. How's the view? Not too shabby. And when I was at the top of my game, I decided, you know what? I'm going to pursue some other stuff. My friends and I are going to go to work on the internet. We're going to try to chase fulfillment as opposed to just a paycheck. And there were some interesting responses from people of power in the sporting world.
Make them tear the uniform off of you. Sure. Look, somebody needs to stage an intervention. People who know this guy, get to him now. Make him put his helmet back on and get to camp.
Oh no, there's no intervention, Wilbon. No. Here we are 3 years after that date, and it's a celebration, bitches! Cut the music! Let's hand out some bags to the boys. For the boys. For the boys. Hey, by the way, that's for you, brother.
Oh my god.
Are you home? All right, come out the front door.
What's up, dude?
What's this?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
What the fuck?
Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is the bag of money.
FanDuel deal went through. There's $50,000 in there for you. Here's a backpack with $50,000 in it. Oh, $50,000 in there.
Oh my god.
Yes, there's $50,000 in there. Yes, there's $50,000.
Are you fucking serious?
Let's go.
Rubber bag.
Oh, man. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yo, this is...
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, dude.
We did it?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, thank
Dude, it's a fuck ton of money.
you. You guys.
When I asked Dan Patrick for some advice, he told me always take care of the boys.
Well, and you should know those people that are there with you, that their value cannot be overstated and should not be overstated.
So Mike Wilbon, they didn't hold my jersey on me. They didn't hold my helmet on me. We didn't have an intervention. What we have is a celebration. Because when you bet on yourself, sometimes you hit for big. And for us, the only place we'll bet for the next couple years in an exclusive deal, FanDuel backed the Brinks truck up to our office, and we have never been more thankful, more excited, and more together as we promote the greatest sports book on planet Earth. Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, July 8th. Obviously, a massive day for this office. If you're listening on radio and not watching on YouTube, we made a rather large declaration this morning by a video that was put together by Foxy, displaying that we just signed a multi-year deal to be exclusive with FanDuel as our sports book partners. Let's go! So we had to deal with FanDuel. It was like a quick run this past fall. And as soon as it started, FanDuel basically, whenever they didn't want me to do anything that they were like, listen, anything you want to do it, right? Anything you want to do it. Now, granted, there's regulations because sports gambling has become a federally regulated thing, and it's going to open up to more and more states. There's a couple big announcements for states that are getting legalized for the mobile sportsbook app coming soon, but I'm not going to be the one to break that news because I could be wrong, and I do not want to do that, but I am privy to some information now that's very interesting. But whenever we started working with FanDuel, the people there were just so cool. They're like, listen, whatever you think of, whatever you want to do, whatever odds you want to boost, whatever campaigns you want to run. We ran a Spread the Love campaign, which had never been done in this fashion before, and I thought it was a big joke. I thought there was no way FanDuel would allow it. They were like, hey, any idea you think of, just kind of send it to us. We'll see if we can get it regulated and pass through. And since we have the best tech in sports gambling, which FanDuel does, and we own the book itself, so we can change lines and stuff like that, no problem. We can implement it quickly. I was like, well, how about the Spread the Love campaign? And they're like, what's that mean? I was like, I think it's like team bet it. You know, like if we get a certain amount of people to bet on something, can we raise the points? Can we get more points if we get more people on there? They're like, yeah, I think we could do that. Let's see what happens. They go, they get it tested, whatever. Then the Indianapolis Colts against the New Orleans Saints was the first time we did it. The Colts are plus 60 or something like that. So for every 250 people that bet on that, it went up another point. We had it at plus 60. Then did it for the IU game against Purdue, I believe. It might have been IU Purdue. And it got up to like plus 100 and something. So like these campaigns are things that FanDuel, I'm not sure any other sports book would do. They lost millions and millions off of those things, and FanDuel was like, we want more of them. Whatever you can think of to make sports gambling as much fun as possible for people, we are in. Because for a long time, sports gambling has had kind of that, like, I don't want to say shady feel, but it kind of was, because it wasn't legalized. So you had to go to somebody in the corner, you had to kind of talk to them. Then you see the movies like Uncut Gems, and you start thinking of like how some people get in there. But really, the only experience I've had since retiring in sports gambling is like I have a good time with it, with the guys. I'm like, hey, let's do this. And FanDuel and I, we've really been a perfect relationship. And joining us in like 28 minutes will be Matt King, the CEO of FanDuel, just to talk to him about why did he decide to back the Brinks truck up to us? That was very, very nice of him. We're very, very thankful. It's been hard. This has been like a 3-4 month conversation now with FanDuel to figure out how to get this deal right. They will be re-showing our show daily at 10 p.m. on their digital platforms that they own. I believe TVG is one of them. And also, I'm not sure the other name, SportsGrid, I think. SportsGrid is just on, but I don't know how that's going to. I think it's on SportsGrid as well. They'll also use some of our social media clips. And then most importantly, they're going to let us do whatever the hell we want with that sports book to hopefully promote it, because they are the friendliest. Okay, they really are.
Oh, yeah.
They refund people whenever they think something's unfair. Yeah, if a ref makes a mistake or something, they'll refund people that lose it. No sports book is doing that. No. Like, they don't have to. Could very easily collect their money, refund it. They want to do things the right way, and we're very thankful to sign a multi-year deal with them. And it was a big one. I'm going to be honest. This was a hilarious deal. I had to practice with a straight face the amount of money that I was expecting out of this deal. And I practiced it in the mirror whenever I was looking in the mirror, and I said the number because I knew we had a conversation. Matt King, the guy that's coming in, the CEO of FanDuel, I never met him before. And before they saw the back end of the deal that we made, right? Like how we performed for them and how our people got on board with us, which I can't thank you all literally enough. I don't know which camera. I can't thank you all enough for rocking with us on a daily basis, because without you, literally, and I have no idea why. The people that followed me on Twitter, like from the beginning, I started growing a following, on Twitter, and I stuck with it a lot. I was on Twitter a lot. I invested a lot of time on Twitter, and people kept following. And people would ask me why. Like, why do you think these people follow? And I have no idea. Like, I honestly have no idea. I might be the dumbest human on earth, okay? I got in a resounding amount of moxie, I think, at this point. I think it could be a good way to describe it. And it makes no sense that you guys rock with us so hard and rock with me. I am so thankful for you guys and the way we perform with FanDuel. Now, granted, I'm going to we gave winners out. Like, I gave a lot of winners out. We boosted odds on a lot of winners. I mean, and to be honest, I thought it was potentially going to ruin the deal with FanDuel. Like, I thought there was a chance that it was going to ruin, because we're giving out locks, we're boosting odds, which means you're getting more bang for your buck than any other sports book. And whenever we choose to do so, like, that's what FanDuel does. And they saw the back end performance, but Matt King wanted to talk about a bigger deal. He was like, hey, let's go ahead and why don't we go ahead and try to lock this down? So he comes to Indianapolis And we go to lunch. I think I'm in a sleeveless hoodie and jorts. Okay, I think I'm in a sleeveless hoodie and jorts. And the conversation just started. And there was a lot of things thrown out there. There's a potential business partnership that's going to happen here in the next couple months too. We're in full conversation. It's just, whenever you start talking to him, he was like such a cool dude. It made no sense. It made no sense how cool of a guy he was to be in a position he's in a business that is currently like a rocket ship right now. It's just, it was a very cool conversation. I'm very thankful for him. But this conversation negotiation has been going on for a couple months, and I don't have a filter. And there's been a couple times on this show where I've just wanted to be like, wait until you hear what, because you never know what's going to happen. There was a couple days where it felt like maybe, because obviously there was a sports hiatus and there was a full quarantine, and there was a lot of days where it was like kind of difficult, I think, for both sides to even want to talk business, right? It was like, hey, we are in a time that we will never, ever, ever have again. Like, this is a crazy time of change, crazy time that has never happened, unprecedented. So there was a couple days where, it was like, this is not what we should be talking about. We should talk about other stuff. But man, through the entire thing, it's felt like a real partnership with FanDuel, and I am so thankful. And as soon as I said the number to them that I was thinking, and I did it with a straight face, by the way, I was pretty proud of me. Method actor. I thought about Johnny Depp whenever he's walking out the bags out of the airport. It was like, hey, you just got to act as if, dude. Just act as if here. So I practiced in the mirror the number that I thought it would be, a number I think I would need. Then I go to him, and he says, what do you think? What do you think for this type of thing? And I say the number. I deliver it with a very straight face. I'm not going to say it because there's no reason to really rub that in there. It's big. And I said it with a straight face. And he looked at me, and he goes, I think we can do that. And I was like, damn, should have said more. It felt like Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs deal. It felt like Patrick Mahomes should have said more.
You war dogs yourself.
I did, but it was more than enough for me to be like, yeah, this is awesome. So FanDuel becomes our exclusive sports book in a massive marketing partnership. And I can't wait. Man, I'm so thankful. And the other night, now granted, that was obviously a long time ago. None of the guys have the money still in their house. So if you know where they live, that thing, a lot of them didn't know what to do, to be honest. Next day after that money was delivered to their houses in bag. And by the way, we were going to do briefcases, but you got to secure the bag. Yeah, like the bag. The bag is so much better. And we had to get 10. My lady Sam, she went to a couple different stores to find 10 backpacks.
Nice backpacks.
Great backpacks.
Nice backpacks.
By the way, only like $20 a pop.
Yeah.
And there was like $65. She was sending me pictures of these backpacks. She was like, are they going to use these backpacks again? I was like, I would assume. And she was like, well, we shouldn't go like this. Here, this one's a good medium one. It's $19.99. The other one's $65, $70. They are charging parents an arm and a leg for these bags. So we get the $20 bag. So a little bit. You guys can get your own bags now at this point. Yeah. But that whole thing going around with the bags to all you guys, I mean, it was so much fun. The bank process, though, was a whole ordeal. I mean, me and Foxy going into a bank asking to withdraw, that amount of cash is very hilarious. I go in there, by the way, once again, George, the whole thing. In the bank, big shout out to the bank, okay? It's my money. Right. Yeah. So I would like that to be known. Sometimes it feels like the bank people, and it's not just for me, I assume it's for everybody. They act as if it's their money. Right. And I can understand that because they do a great job of protecting it. But the amount of time it took for the Huntington employees to get all this out, like, I am very, very, very thankful.
Can't even imagine.
Very, very thankful for them. But boy, what a day, July 8th. It's a cool one. Matt King will be joining us in like 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, they have to count everything too. And that was a pretty deep stack there. And it's like, when you go to a casino, they have to count out every dollar in front of you. Mm-hmm. That has to happen at a bank as well. And I've never made that large of a withdrawal. That turned into quite a process. That turned into a
lot of questions.
A lot of questions were being asked. I mean, there was a lot going on. It was like, hey, just listen. I know this is probably going to be another 4-hour process here, but let's keep it moving. And then the midnight ride to all the boys was fantastic. Yeah. It's just, we're in a pretty hilarious existence here. I mean, right in the middle of a pretty hilarious existence. I'm 33 years old. When I retired on that video, you heard Mike Wilbon basically say that my friends need to give me an intervention and need to hold the helmet on me and all this stuff. And I think the fact that you guys, and then you guys joining and not even knowing what the hell it is, the fact that you guys just quit your jobs and did this, like, I am so thankful for that. Because there was a couple times where I would lay down at night and I would think, like, why are Nick and Diggs doing this? Like, Diggs, great salesman and a credit card company. Weren't you, Diggs? You were a great salesman. Look at this guy. This guy could sell ice to a polar bear. Right now. This guy right here. Look at this guy. And he would give deals to everybody. His boss didn't even know, and he was just making things happen. Nick went to school 45 years. Nick literally has a master's and all this stuff. So whenever they were like, hey, if you're doing this, we're going to come with you. I mean, that was a wild scene. There was a couple times I lay down and I'm like, well, this is crazy, because now it's not only me. Right now, it's not only my lady, but now I got my friends, their potential future families, and everybody at home who knows these guys who just quit their jobs is probably like, you guys are idiots. So it really was a point where, and I want to thank you guys for that a lot. And this is just the beginning, by the way. No, it's not. It's not the beginning. The beginning was then. Now we are like, whenever people are like, "Hey, we're just getting started." Like, no. We've been going here rather hard. But I thank you guys for being there from the jump, man. Honestly, I honestly did. We were in a basement at one point where there was ghosts flying around. We were recording into an iPad at one point. I mean, we were bouncing around. We had this, that. I mean, it was a hell of a ride to get here. And this is a massive investment into our company. I think it couldn't be done without you guys.
And I'll never forget when you called me and I was sitting in the cubicle and you called me and I took the call out in the hallway and I was like, you want to do what? And I was like, let me get back to you. And then, and then I thought it over and then I told my parents and they're like, you're going to do what? And I was like, listen, I've known Pat for 20 years. You guys have known Pat for 20 years. He has never failed at anything he has put his mind to do. And I was like, I trust my entire life with this human. So I'm going to move from Pittsburgh. I'm going to go to Indianapolis and we're going to crush this. And obviously that trend still continues. And I can't.
Well, that means a lot. I have failed at things, though. I mean, like I have.
Maybe like a day, but then the next day it gets better.
Yeah, that is. I feel like I have a good selection process on what I try to do. I think that is something that, like, I'm not going to try to do things like Jeopardy, for instance. I'd be terrible at Jeopardy. There's things that I know that I would be terrible at, but Wheel of Fortune, I get on there, probably going to clean sweep that thing. If I had to guess, probably clean sweep that thing. I feel like I'm good at picking and choosing what I do, but this one, I mean, it was a whole new world. We were very lucky. Like, with the comments in the video, going to Barstool there for the first year and a half. And we didn't move to New York, which I think we would have learned even more if we would have moved over there about how, sales and how the whole thing operates. But getting a chance to have like that, like university almost into the internet was really, really cool. Like really, really nice. And that was conversations I had with Eric and Dave whenever I was going to retire, because I was going to start my own app. I was going to start my own app. I was going to put out a podcast like daily. I was going to charge like 99 cents a month for people, because I had hundreds of thousands of followers in Indiana. And I was like, if I just get 10% of these people to just pay $1 a month and I'm just making content on my own app, this is no problem. This will be a business. And Dave and Erica reached out to me. And by the way, that wouldn't have worked. Just hindsight, that would not have worked. But Dave and Erica reached out and they're like, hey, whenever you retire, you want to come? So getting a chance to go and like learn and watch them while running our own business. So it was like we were running our own operation out here in Indianapolis while also seeing like how it kind of works was vital in this entire thing. And then whenever we go off and do it alone, there was a lot of people that obviously thought we weren't going to make. I mean, every single decision I've ever made, somebody has looked me right in the face and told me I'm an idiot and I'm not going to make it. And these are some of the people I respect have said it. Like whenever I left soccer to do football in high school, the amount of humans that were calling and telling me and my family, like, why is he doing this? Like, why are you, because I don't want to scratch my own back here, but I was a rather large deal in the soccer world for a little bit. I had potentially the strongest leg to ever kick a soccer ball, and I was fast. Now, granted, I hated running, but I think that kind of comes into it. But I had a lot more schools looking at me for soccer, a lot more, like 10 times more schools looking at me for soccer than I did for football. So whenever I was like, I'm going to go do football after a conversation with my old man, a lot of people were like, you're so dumb. Like, people were telling me I was dumb. Like, a lot of people were telling me I was very stupid. And then that obviously ends up working out. Then I get drafted to punt. I go to the Colts. And then whenever I think about doing stand-up or whenever I think about doing my own merch company for Connor Daly to run the Indy 500, or whenever I think about doing this, I'm always told I'm an idiot by some people. And I would assume a lot of people have enough mental toughness to just be like kind of brushes. I don't. Like I swallow those and I remember those people forever. And that's why the Wilbon clip was so vital to this clip, because it was literally as we were trying to figure out the announcement, I was like, Wilbon, day I retired. Because I remember like it was yesterday, because I have a lot of respect for Wilbon. I have a lot of respect for Kornheiser. I have a lot of respect for them. And listening to them talk to me, it was like, man, you have no idea who I am. Like, you obviously have done zero research. You have no idea that I've already sold out a stand-up comedy tour with over 10,000 tickets sold in under like 30 minutes. You have no idea about any of this. Like so that was like a driving force. So then I said, whenever we get a Brinks truck backed up, in my mind, I was like, Mike Wilbon will be the first person. And we did reach out to him for comment, because I thought after this long, like maybe he'd be like, hey, I was wrong, big respect. And I can understand that not everybody will be able to do what we have been able to do. It has taken a special group of humans alongside me here to be able to do this. And also, amount of work. I misjudged the amount of work it was going to be. Okay, I misjudged. Whenever I was in the NFL thinking about retiring to do this, I misjudged how much work it was going to be. But man, when you're working with your friends and like you're working with a goal and a mission, you really get going. You kind of get lost in the process and all that. But whenever we got here, I said, listen, that Wilbon clip is going to be the thing that kind of drives this entire thing. And it was. And he has not responded. I would assume that Wilbon, though, at some point will do something hilarious about this. Mm-hmm. But this is a cool day for us, man. Really cool day.
Man, that was my favorite. When you first started doing comedy while still playing in the league, and everyone's like, oh, he's punting. Now he's doing comedy. He's going to punt for another 10 years. He's going to make so much money. I'm like, well, about that. You'd always talk about it. You'd always like, I don't know, maybe next year. And then no one would believe me when I'd say it. They'd ask me back home. I'm like, yeah, he's probably going to hang him up soon. I think he's about done with it.
I just, it's one of those things where I was very, very fortunate and lucky to play in the NFL. Very, very fortunate and lucky to play in the NFL. Not a lot of people get to do that. And it set me up, it set me up. It gave me a head start on everything. I got to take care of my family, my friends. I got to do a lot. It was really good. But once you start doing things like with the foundation, I started doing a lot like philanthropic stuff off the field, and then I started doing like radio, and then I started doing stand-up comedy, and then that merch business with Connor Daly for the Indy 500. Like I saw how that started working, and I started seeing everything else. And for those stand-up comedy things, I was running the theaters myself and just selling the tickets off my Twitter. So I literally saw how the entire business that worked, and I saw some of the paychecks in that. I'm like, so there is money out here to make it. Unless this just disappears, which I'm not 100% sure it will, there is a lot of money to be made off the field. And it was like 2-3 years, though, of me like, I think this is it. Like, because it's not about, I love the people at the Colts, like all the behind the scenes people and teammates and everything like that. But I kind of lost fulfillment in working my ass off and investing my time and energy into punting a ball whenever the offense fails, right? And I would have my best season and we would lose. So my happiness would be completely controlled by whether or not other people were working as hard or having as much success or getting as lucky as I was. It kind of got to a point where I was like, I respect punting. I appreciate punting. I appreciate the NFL, but I just feel like the time has kind of passed. And also I didn't really feel welcome at the workplace my last year. It was almost like I was not loved the last couple years at my workplace. So you kind of put those all in, plus another surgery on my knee. It was just like the easy decision for me. But then when I heard the backlash from people about how stupid I was, that was the first time I was ever like, oh, maybe a bad idea. I think I'm dumb enough, which I think is a pretty key. I'm a dumb enough person that I don't overthink things. It's like, if I make a decision, like, okay, let's go, and let's see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, let's remember it and look back. So whenever I made the decision to finally retire, it was like, all right, here we go, I'm going to go. And then once the outside noise started creeping in, it was potentially a bad idea. I was like, oh, I guess it could be, huh? And then you guys both quit and joined it. It's like, well, then those guys, they just quit their jobs. And I'm like, well, get that out of there. Don't even think about that. Let's just get back to the goal here. And with the group of boys that came in via interns, I mean, we are a lucky, lucky bunch here. And I can't thank you all enough for watching this stupid journey of us. At Nick Morotto, at Tone Diggs, at Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee, Viva Lazito, Evan Foxy, rocking a rose shirt. Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, real romantic.
Foxy.
Whoa. Hey, Foxy. Hey. Foxy, great job on that video.
Thank you. You had a great idea. I just had to put it together.
Well, Foxy and I did, this morning, we had a what would that be called? Whenever you have like
Epiphany?
Yeah, an epiphany.
Yes.
We should have had the Wilbon thing at the very end of that video.
I agree.
Like at the end, it should have ended with him popping up with the request for comment from Mike Wilbon was denied or something like that. Just because, like, whenever you watch those documentaries or movies, it's like the last thing that pops up. It'd be like he died, you know. And we don't want that. By the way, we don't want that to happen. But that I think that I really enjoyed doing that entire video there.
I love when you come to me with video ideas like that. I'm like, okay, what's next, Matt?
It was because we had to keep a secret.
Oh yeah,
Like this is
which is not easy for you.
This has been very tough for me, this entire thing. The negotiations, the video concept here, having to go to a bank and pull out a few hundred, $500,000 out of the bank. I mean, it's just, there was a lot of secrets that I had to keep, and I am not good at it. I am not good at all. So I'm thankful that this has happened, not only obviously for what Fando has done for us, but I'm thankful that I'm allowed to talk about it finally.
How long did you have the Publishers Clearinghouse show up at the door idea?
It's been a couple, like probably 2 months. Whenever I learned what the money was going to be, then I was like, oh, this is awesome. Now what do we do? I forget what it was going to be first. I was going to take you guys into like the idea was, what's that thing like?
I thought I was being loaded into a van. I thought I was going to get a bag on my head and being loaded into
So
a van.
what's that thing that's like trap rooms or whatever they're called?
Oh, yeah. Escape rooms.
Escape rooms. I was gonna have you all have to like.
I don't want to get out.
Yeah, you all have to like compete in a as a group.
Yeah.
And then whenever you make it out to the end, it's just like a big,
never
big
would've.
pile of cash.
Never would have.
Yeah, I know, but the content would have been amazing.
we would have done.
But to do that, I would have had to rent a building. I would have had to set it up. I would have because it's normally only for groups of 4, I guess. So like a group of 10 would have been a little bit tight, I guess.
Next time.
So there's a lot of thoughts. Believe me, we fell on the just show up at the door. I fell on the just show up at the door thing. It was like 7, 8 ideas down because I started learning that they probably weren't feasible. All the other ones.
That's normally how most of our ideas
That's
work.
exactly how this office works. On the phones, 1-833-622-3331 at Boston. Connor as well. How you doing, bub?
Oh, Jesus. I'm doing well. I haven't taken this backpack off. Never will. I don't think.
That's smart. You should probably take that off, by the way. And I would like to let everybody know that's potentially about to break into our office right now that there is no money in that backpack right there.
No, there's no money. I already spent it all.
Hey, by the way,
Get some trees.
Actually, I bought a redwood. Yeah, how did you know? Me and Ty were just talking about it.
Bad news for us. Good news for Meekum Auctions. They are in town this
Hold on, no. And I saw a commercial last night. They've updated their online bidding technology, so you can literally be there and bid because you got to wear masks in there. You got to do the entire thing. I'm thinking about just going online and potentially hitting every Meekum auction that happens. But if we go live, I mean, if we're
Yeah.
how
Pay off your debt. 1967 Ford Mustang.
See, we are people that aren't supposed to have money. What is on your dry erase board?
On the board today, Mike Wilpon is worse than Kenny the Jet.
No. See, I disagree. I think Mike Wilbon. I think he was
Wilpon's not good owners.
I think he was a big motivating factor in this entire thing.
I'd say so.
He didn't even know it. The guy didn't even know it. Yeah, for which ultimately.
For me as well, but I carry a little more hate, I think, than you do.
I respect that. Kenny the Jet, though, he had a rough day yesterday on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he was on a lot of other shows.
Yeah, again.
It's like he did an entire interview series and he just canceled ours, like to go to the bathroom so he could
Had breakfast,
did
maybe.
a bunch of morning shows, canceled ours. Twice he did that 1 week. What's the deal?
It's about respect.
Who cares, man? That was back when we were broke. Intern Mitt is here. If you would have came around a couple years ago, Mitt, you could have potentially got a bag, but your bag will come soon enough, I think, with the way you operate.
Let's go.
I think. That was a compliment, Mitt. That was a compliment for sure. 23 minutes after the hour. We have to get to a break for the radio. The show also kind of got snuck in there sometime in August. We don't know when. Mid-August, late August. We're going to move this show to a 3-hour show. Okay. Because, I enjoy the show a lot. And there's some days where there's nothing to talk about. But anytime there's anything to talk about, and we have a couple guests, kind of run out of time there in that 2 hours.
Yeah.
We're like, you know what? Might as well open that son of a bitch up another hour. Why not?
Let it breathe.
Let's do it.
Now, will future me regret this? I don't think so.
No.
Now, listen, future me must remember, do not move this to 4 hours. Okay, do not move this to 4 hours. I need future me. People need to remind me if I start thinking like 3 hours is easy. Let's do the 4 hours because 4 hours. How do you keep that thing interesting for 4 hours? You can't.
No.
3 hours. We're gonna find out. I think 3 hours is the max.
I think future you is gonna love it until like July when only baseball is on.
Oh yeah, I think we have worked into a deal with ourselves that we can bust down to 2 hours.
Yep.
And by the way, we're a big baseball show now.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah,
We are.
Buster Oney's our guy.
Yes.
Big baseball show.
Yep.
Baseball seems to be all the way back, huh?
As of right now, yes, it is.
July 25th?
Guys are tested positive, but outside of that, yeah.
On the other side, we will talk about a lot of things happening in the sports world. Something that happened yesterday that we didn't talk about because honestly, I thought somebody was hacked. I thought somebody was hacked and they were trying to ruin their lives. I thought there was no way it was true. And I was also finishing up a contract whenever it was all happening, but I thought somebody got hacked and they were trying to ruin a person's life. Turns out it was just them.
Yeah.
Wild move. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't win with it.
Won't win with it.
Can't do it.
We're talking about Desean Jackson, obviously. I thought he got hacked. I woke up in the morning, I saw what was going on, and I do a scroll through the internet, and I saw the picture. I was like, oh, he must have got hacked. Like, let's wait until the facts come out. And then yesterday, as the facts started rolling out, it was like, no. That was what he was thinking there.
He did it, yeah.
Can't be quoting Hitler.
No. Never a good move.
That is what they say.
Can't be doing it. I mean, there's a few rules in this. Can't name your kid Adolf.
Nope.
Can't quote the guy.
Nope.
No mustache.
Can't do the mustache. We're talking top 1 worst human of all time. That's a tough thing. He said he's going to get educated and learn about it. I hope that happens quickly because, boy, that was some tough stuff to read. I literally thought he got hacked and somebody was trying to ruin his life. Like, how would you ruin somebody's life? This is how you would do it. He did it himself. And then there's other people coming out and support him. I'm like, I think that's a bad decision. Like, what are you guys doing here? Hey, let's all like each other.
Come on.
Hey, let's all like each other. Ain't that what we're trying to do? Everything we're trying to do anyways? 26 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, sir. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you slow. It's all good, though. Just having time of our lives. It's your man, Uncle Sam. And my homie Twine. We out.
I was told by Del Curry, Scottie Pippen struggles on a golf course. Right?
Right.
I was told at that thing that I'm going against Scottie Pippen the next day, match play, heads up, one-on-one Scottie Pippen. So we decide, like, okay, we could probably have a couple drinks, stay at the casino a little bit longer than we should.
Representing the NFL out of the Shoeless Golf Club of America, Pat McAfee. His opponent, representing the NBA, Scottie Pippen.
You know what I mean? This guy's got 6 rings. Yeah. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. But today he's going to play against me. And then I start seeing Scottie hit some shots that are just like starting to come together. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. I think I was lied to.
We were lied to yesterday. We were told Scottie Pippen was a terrible golfer. Bro, he's Scottie fucking Pippen.
Going in the back 9, I think I was down 1. Like, we were battling. But I started making putts. And Scottie Pippen went ahead and got real hot. I mean, real fucking hot. I was down 3 with 7 left. And I looked right in the camera, and I go,
so we're down 3, like 7 holes left. Scottie Pippen's about to get this work.
Scottie Pippen from 190 yards out just fucking dunks it. Fucking boom, bang, and then walks up to the green, gets the ball, cameras on him, and he goes, Pippen ain't easy. Kidding me?
All right, down 4 with 6 left after Scottie Pippen just chips him from fucking 400 yards out.
I was fucking demoralized.
Pippen ain't easy.
By the way, best he's ever performed at golf, because I'm around, better teammate than Jordan.
Yep.
People forget. Oh, yeah, I told Del, I was like, Del, what the fuck you lying to me? He was like, well, I saw it yesterday. He was not great. And Greg Anthony told me, and I was like, Del, he buried me, Del Curry. He buried me. He was like, hey, Pippen ain't easy.
Yes, baby, it's time to celebrate.
Talking about a shotgun of beer after he had beat me, obviously. I like teach him how to do it.
Yeah, put a hole in there. It might spread a little bit, so.
Yeah.
So you're going to go here, and then you're going to open and flip up. Does that make sense? Congrats on winning the NBA a couple times, blah, 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 blah. And being an incredible golfer. Thanks, Paul. Cheers. Appreciate it. Hey. 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 Hey.
Damn.
Okay,
That's
Scotty.
the best Bud Light I ever had.
Hey, there's no Scott King up here.
You right.
Ooh-wee. Hey, Twine, you a fool for this one. Yeah. And this your man, Uncle Sam. I'm in my zone every day, every night. Another couple shots about to get me right. You know it. Surrounded by the ones that get me through it all. Only thing we need more of is alcohol. Hey, I'm getting lit. Hey, you getting lit. Hey, who's getting lit? Hey, we getting lit. Hey, I'm getting lit. Hey, you getting lit. Hey, who's getting lit? Hey, we getting lit. Now you can find me posted up, drinking out the bottle. It ain't even sexual when I tell your girl to swallow. Push your hate aside, celebrate your life. Don't you slay my vibe, cause we bout to raise the night. I'm talking good vibes, good times, one love. Drink this, drink that, all night, sun's up. This ain't that two-step group dance, same music. This be that forget my name, spraying champagne music. Break it down, cause we just getting started. Fill it up, raise a cup, welcome to the party. Top, bottom, top, that's how we hit the toast. 6-400 spokes, yeah, that's what I call the GOAT.
Uncle Sam! Uncle Sam with a K and two M's going very hard right there. Is this a new song?
Oh, yeah.
Two of the brightest stars in the PMI universe have collided. It is Twine featuring Uncle Sam.
Oh, my God! This is a banger! What's this called?
We Getting Lit.
Where's it at? Is it on Twine or Uncle Sam's Spotify?
Believe Big Unks.
This is a heater. Shout out to Twine. Shout out to Uncle Sam. Also, massive shout out to this guy that we're about to introduce. I told the story a little bit about us meeting and having a meal. And you didn't know this story. You're going to have to move that mic up to your face. You didn't know this story, but I had to practice saying, Mitt, will you move that thing for Matt?
Jesus, Mitt, do something.
There we go. There we go, Matt. Yeah, smart guy. He'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah. Self-sufficient.
There it is, Matt.
There you are.
I told, oh, no.
Little wobbly.
Mitt,
no.
What'd you
fix
do,
the
Mitt?
thing, Mitt.
What did you do?
Unbelievable. Matt, you do not deserve this. You deserve
think
something
Mitt knows
much
how to
better.
Sorry, he's drunk. Sorry. Sorry about that.
I told the story this morning whenever we kicked off the show about our relationship, Mr. King, and I talked about how I had to practice saying the amount of money that I thought it would take because I knew the question was coming from you. And I delivered it with a straight face to you. And you were like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal to me. And I was like, damn, should I ask for more, first of all? And then second of all, you were so cool through this entire process. And being in a position that you're in the world that you're in, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for you not to be cool. And that's why I'm so thankful to be getting into bigger business with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of FanDuel, Matt King.
Yeah! We love you, man!
Blushing.
Yeah, you got great hair too. Grew out the hair a little bit during the quarantine.
I used to have a ponytail.
Respect.
Have you ever seen that thing? Have you ever seen that ponytail on that guy back there? It's up on the screen there above you. Yeah, it's very.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he's got a very.
That's impressive.
It's a very white trash man bun there, but he's got his own hair.
I don't judge.
I like the flow
Thank
though.
you.
Let's talk about being the CEO of FanDuel. Because it's kind of like you're sailing a ship that has no destination because nobody knows what's going to happen with legalized gambling, right? I mean, every day it's like new regulations. Yep. You got to go do new licensing. What drew you to the FanDuel company, and what has really been the most surprising part of it all?
What drew me to the FanDuel company was two things. One is the people in the company. It's an amazing experience, and I think very similar to what you guys have here from a vibe is like people just love coming to work, right? Like this is their dream job, and that's a really special company to run. Is a company where everybody loves coming to work.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the alternative.
Hell of a lot better than that. And so you got that on one hand, and then I think the other thing is just the fan community, right? If you think about, like I came late in life to sports. My parents were not huge sports fans. Like I was the one person in my family that was like, let's watch the Super Bowl. And everybody's like, wait, what day is that? And what is that? And so for me, sports was always kind of something that, I found on my own. And then later in life, what I found was just the love and the energy that sports fans have, and then have those as your user base is just really incredible. Like sometimes it's painful because you'll get picked apart on the smallest thing, but at their core, just like our employees, our players love the product, and that love is something that's very hard to replicate.
Well, your app is so easy to use.
The best.
I mean,
The
it's
best in gambling.
The tech is next level, right? And I would assume, since your family wasn't involved in sports, you come from a very intelligent family. So the way that you guys have pieced this together, and not saying sports fans aren't intelligent, but you get it. You know what I'm saying. The way the tech is incredible, very easy to operate, and the fact that you guys are allowed to move, like the Spread the Love campaign and thing, like that is insane to me. That feels like something that a non-regulated sports book would be able to do. But the fact that you guys are able to do that, it's awesome. It doesn't really make much sense to me how it all. It doesn't make much sense to me how it works, but I love that it does.
I mean, look, on the tech, like we actually have a business principle, which is simplicity beats complexity, right? And so like the reality is like we operate in a regulated industry, right? So there is a lot of complexity. Like there are things that the regulator says you can't do that makes no sense. Like it makes no sense from a user perspective, but it makes sense from a regulatory perspective. And so what we push our teams to do is to say, how do you deliver that experience in a way that is regulatory compliant, but frankly, a customer or a user doesn't experience any of that complexity?
Yeah.
And that's a really
because we're stupid.
No,
we are. No, we are. Hey, Matt, listen. If there is a lot of things that I have to figure out to get in somewhere, I'm probably out. I'm going to be.
That's exactly.
Oh yeah. I'm probably out. But the way the tech is set up is just so smooth. Yeah. Too smooth sometimes, but on the flip side of there, the ability to sneak in a bet last second, because you see a warm up somebody's having on NFL Network or something, it's like boom, 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 it's not going to shut down. It's just the way you guys have built that thing is so smart, and how whenever you go about opening in new states, right? Because there's 5 now, 5 states are legalized. And there's going to be a lot more, I think, within.
Might be 5 new ones between now and the end of the year.
Oh,
Mr. King.
So before, whenever I was talking, I was like, I'm privy to some information that I'm not sure I'm allowed to be breaking, so I'm not going to say it anymore. But you just said it. So they're going to double the size potentially by the end of 2020, and then 2021, I assume, with the amount of money that states are making, they're going to see that, and it's only going to generate even more, right?
That's our hope. So you got Michigan, Illinois, Virginia, Tennessee, all potentially coming online.
Let's go. That is big news.
Yeah.
Now, when you got into business with us, we had never met personally.
We did not.
But I assume somebody pitched you the idea. When you Googled me, did the mugshot pop up first, or what was it? Was it the alleged incident that happened?
It was actually a bunch of things that said this content has been censored. So I actually never really knew what sat behind there.
Yeah, I respect it.
So, I still need to figure out my privacy filters and my, I'll get to the bottom of what those listings are.
But we are so thankful. You've let us do whatever. Not a lot of companies do that. Like SeatGeek, we have a great relationship with SeatGeek, and SeatGeek just says like, hey, whatever you need to do, just do it, run it by us. We're cool with that. And I think that is how good digital marketing happens, right? Like people that have, no offense to the other companies that do business with us, I mean, kind of maybe if you take it that way. Whenever people like force a script down like somebody's throat, like, hey, read it this way. I just think that is incredibly dumb. And Ian from SeatGeek, who is like this digital marketing genius, he puts out tweets every single day that's like, if you think that you know the influencer's audience better than them, and they should be reading your script, that is an incredibly arrogant move to make. And I think that is the coolest thing with you guys, is because it's big business, right? I mean, sports gambling is big business. FanDuel is big business. And the fact that everybody was like, at FanDuel was like, hey, do your thing. Now listen, there are regulations that we can get into some trouble here, but do your thing. That amount of freedom is something that as a creative person, like you can't put a price on. I guess I did, but you can't put a price on it. You know what I mean? And I'm so thankful for you.
No, look, I think from our perspective, authenticity matters, right? Like people will get it, right? Like people get if I try to play that I'm a massive sports fan that knows everybody else, like people will see through that. Like the reality is I love my teams, and other than that, like I'm not as big a sports fan as everybody else.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys,
doesn't matter, by the way. It's almost better taking your money now. when people are gambling, that's what I'm saying. Like when people are gambling against FanDuel, it's like when you win, it's like, hey, I'm smarter than this guy.
Yeah, but good. Like from my perspective, like the way I look at it is like you guys have such an incredible connection with your audience, and for us, that's what we wanted to invest in with you guys. And I think the other thing that's important from a brand perspective is, we want to be on the side of the fan at all times. And what we found and what I found when I did Google you guys and saw both your personal story as well as the brand you've built is that vein of positivity about, anything is possible in life, which by the way is another one of our business principles.
Kevin Garnett.
And and so that, like, for us, it's easy to give you guys the agency because frankly your brand is so consistent with what the brand that we've built and are trying to build and the connection that we want to have with our fans.
What's that called?
Synergy.
Very great synergy. I think that's what we learned whenever we were eating that lunch right in front of Lucas Oil Stadium, which was I was sitting at a table. We're in a back room, pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, man, with being a back room there.
Not socially distanced.
No, it was before. It was before the quarantine. They didn't have an air conditioning in the room. It did get a bit hot. It did get. We had to open the door and kind of do the thing, which kind of ruins the privacy. But you get it. And I'm talking to Matt King, and then right over his head is Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm like, this is just an insane happenstance, and I have no idea why I'm sitting here, but I'm very thankful to be doing so. Matt, we have to get to another break for radio. Will you stick around during the YouTube break?
Of course.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the other side with more sports gambling. CEO of FanDuel, Matt King talk. Massive day for our company, Wednesday, July 8th. Our partnership with FanDuel has blossomed into a beautiful garden with really tall flowers. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Okay, so Matt, when it comes to sports gambling, whenever you're talking and learning about states that are coming on board, what are those conversations like? Because what I've learned through this process is everybody gets their license. Is it a license, I think is what it's called, or something like that? Everybody gets their license at different times. How does that whole process go? Because I understand that this is new for the government too, right? So I assume every government is trying to figure it out as well, and then you guys have to navigate the entire process. How does that whole work? Are you unveiling in different states?
So it's a great question. So you get two things going on. Typically, most states will have some level of licensing framework from casinos. Right, so you have a bunch of people that know how to operate brick and mortar casinos and license them, and they rock up and they say, here is the 100-page personal application that you and 10 other people on your board need to file. So,
Hey, I've had to do a lot of those too, by the way. I've had to do some fingerprints. I've had to do the entire thing.
Our application in one state, collectively for the company and all the individuals, was 80,000 pages.
Jesus.
So
I did not have to ever do that. That is insane.
Yeah, it gets crazy. Like I haven't had to think up my college address in a really long time. And not only do they want to know my college address, but they also want to know who's your landlord. I'm like, I don't remember who my landlord is. And then the other thing though, which is interesting in a lot of states, is for a lot of states, this is the first online product they've ever had. And so all of their casinos have been brick and mortar, and they're trying to figure out how do you regulate an online product for the first time and do it in a way that's safe for consumers. And so a lot of what we do is education, right? It's a lot of talking about here's how online sports betting is actually more easy to track what people are doing, both from a responsible gaming perspective, from a know your customer perspective, and how there's a lot of advantages to it. And so we're typically heavily involved, not just in getting licensed, but also in education, and then helping take what works in other states and bring that to whatever the new state is.
So not only educating the regulators, I think educating the normal people who didn't have Italian friends on sports gambling is a no, I don't want to say you guys cornered the market.
No, we
did. Bookies. No, there's a lot of movies about Irish people writing books. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Have a little respect.
Not as well.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's movies about him. There's movies about him.
Math is hard.
It is difficult. I couldn't even fathom 80,000 page going through that thing. No way.
Thanks.
Happy you're doing it. So educating people, I think, on gambling is a rather big, important part of the FanDuel, like, I don't want to say motto, but like a lot of the goal is like, hey, we got to educate people that this is regulated, like this is fair, this is easy, this is safe, this is everything like that. Because for a long time, the image of sports gambling has always been to behind in the alley, do this, bet. And now it's like with the way you guys are, the way it's marketed, how easy it is, refunding people with money, doing these fun campaigns. It's like, I think it's almost rebranding sports gambling at this point.
So that's the latter part is the difference, right? The interesting thing is illegal sports betting is so ubiquitous that you actually Yeah, sorry.
I am going to try to use context clues here to figure out what the fuck
So-
that
I can't even understand them.
So commonplace.
Oh, got it. Ubiquitous.
Is so commonplace that most people actually do trust it, right? Like, because they're like, oh, I've known my bookie for 20 years and I've done it. So, like, it's interesting because the trust aspect isn't there. Like, and frankly, in a lot of ways, particularly in the early days, the education part isn't huge. Like, when we launched our first facilities, we spent a lot of time on, like, how are we going to teach people to read odds? This will be new. Guy walks up, first customer at the Meadowlands Sportsbook in New Jersey was like, I'd like to put a 5-leg parlay down on this, 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 and this. And you're like, you've clearly done this before. So we quickly pivoted from like educational programs to t-shirts that said break up with your bookie. Because like we realized that like that was actually the bigger thing to do. But what's different is the promotionality, is the idea of we're not your adversary. We're here to be generous and to make a fun experience. Yeah, we earn some revenue over time, but the reality is you get hours of enjoyment out of the products that we deliver and stuff like the Super Bowl or Spread the Love. At the core, we just want them to be fun.
Hey, that Super Bowl heads. What was it? Heads, I think. No, we did a coin toss. Literally flipped the coin 10 times.
Yeah.
And then got a boost on that, and then the winner as well.
Yes.
And that thing hit. I mean, I hit very hard on fan. I thought it was potentially going to drive you guys away because of how hot we were last year. But man, it's fucking awesome, Matt. I just want to let you know that. We're very, very thankful. You're not allowed to say that whenever we get back to radio here in like 30 seconds because I know you've been itching to drop a fuck bomb.
Calm down.
But
I have gotten that feedback. I do say it too much.
we're back on radio rate. Meow.
Now more than ever, we need people with the right skills to support our communities, especially the frontline workers who provide resources and care for those most in need. To help, LinkedIn is offering free job posts for healthcare and essential service organizations that need to quickly fill critical roles with the people who help us all. If you are hiring for one of these organizations, job posts on LinkedIn can help you quickly find the right people for your front line.
Oh.
LinkedIn can help you find frontline workers from its active community of over 675 million members. LinkedIn Jobs screens candidates for the skills and experience you're looking for and puts your job posts in front of qualified people who meet your requirements.
You know what? Normally, stumbling is ubiquitous, but for you, just rolling right through it there.
Way to go,
Boy, Tony.
It was from one line to the next line.
said.
My eyes
Well
went.
said.
So you can find the right person to quickly fill critical roles. To post a healthcare or essential service job for free, or if you're in another industry and have hiring needs, visit linkedin.com/Pat. That's linkedin.com/Pat. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, shout out to LinkedIn.
Boy,
Thank you.
Tony.
Everybody like this.
Shout out to Tone. Way to go, bud.
Tony.
We're still here with CEO of FanDuel, Matt King, who is a incredibly generous and good man, and we thank you a lot. Whenever sports gambling, what is like the 5 years from you? How long do you think until every state has online sportsbook? Now, this is going to be a tough question. You're probably not even allowed to give this answer. And how long do you think until every state has fully embraced it? Because I thought about this with marijuana. When the amount of money that Colorado made with marijuana, I was like, okay, every state is going to pick this up within the next day or two. Turns out that's not how it worked out. There's people still not seeing that as a financial gain potential. But for sports gambling, it feels like there's been a lot more. Indiana, by the way, is slow on everything. I mean, we didn't even have beer sales in Sunday 2 years ago. And I think whenever they saw around, they're like, okay, this is something we can get behind, especially if it's regulated and we're going to do it. How long do you think until all 50 states are on board with sportsbook apps and FanDuel being allowed to be used there?
I don't think you ever have every state with sports betting.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at like casino gaming, there's only like 33 or 35 states that have casino gaming. And so you just have states that don't like gaming, and that's okay. Like it's sad because you'll still have an illegal market, right? You'll still have a lot of activity that's going on in kind of the dark arts. But the reality is, you're going to end up in a place where more than half the country has in the next 5 years.
Jeez, I'm pumped about that.
Love that.
That is great news.
Love it.
Who are the states that aren't going to get it? Like, are Montanimals up there in Montana probably not going to get it? Like, what states do you think won't get it? The people with more casinos, because the casinos people will be in charge more.
Casinos want it. So generally speaking, if it's a state with casino gaming, they're going to have some form of sports betting. I think the exceptions. What you really, though, care about is online, right? If you don't have online, it's a really small market, and you don't put the illegal market out of business. So really what the three big hitters are going to be California, Texas, and Florida, right? So do which of those three or do all three of those end up with it? That'll be the big needle mover.
Hey, a lot of humans over there in California.
That there are.
Also, potentially a lot of COVID-19 going on in those states.
Is New York State?
No.
New York State does not have it, but that will definitely also be one of the, that's kind of the fourth of the big four.
We would land in Teterboro, New Jersey, Sundays, and we would head right to, oh my God. And as soon as we get through the tunnel, it would cut off immediately.
Yep.
It's, the tech, it really is amazing how as soon as you get into uncharted or unregulated states, it just cuts off immediately.
Yep.
That was a Sunday night ritual. It was like, all right, let's get them all in here. Oh my God, who's playing? Oh, they're going to throw. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, he's going to throw for more than that. Of course. And then as soon as you see like a lock, you're like, I'm going to put that in, then bang, you're in the tunnel, can't make it. It's like, damn it. Can you not get on the same page here in New York and New Jersey? Let's talk about the state of sports right now with COVID-19.
Okay.
You guys have horse gambling as well in there.
We do.
Which TVG is a sister company, I believe, right?
Yep.
And so you guys in the AFL is back and there's soccer back. So there's obviously things to gamble on, and ping pong there for a while was something you could gamble on. But going into this whole thing now, what is like your guys' thoughts on this? What happens if this whole thing, it starts, it finishes? What is the idea? Is like we just have those other sports that are already going? We have that whole thing?
So we all, like, one of our tags is always more ways to win, right? Whether it's horse racing, casino, or anything like that. So we're always looking to have the broadest breadth of product out there of anybody, because frankly, you know, for every NFL fan out there, there's somebody who loves the AFL, right? So if I pull the AFL just because baseball's back, like, people are going to be pissed. You're going to be pissed.
I will not be happy, especially because I've been told that the Collingwood Magpies are about to get hot. Just one of those.
Here we go.
And if they don't, I'm potentially off.
So, you know, we're always going to have the AFL, and we're always going to be supporting it. So, like, I think our general point is we, like, this moment of the return to sport is probably one of the most important kind of cultural moments in the country for at least the year 2020, right? Because it's some level of returning, not to normal, but returning of something that people love. And so our biggest objective is actually not around, you know, hey, how do we maximize revenue when sports comes back? It's actually, how do we just bring as much sport to people, you know, as broadly as possible to as many people as possible.
And you guys have game streams on the app now at this point.
We have some game streams on the app. So we have some NHL that we had pre-COVID. We got obviously a lot of horse racing. We got a lot of tennis, a lot of soccer. So about 15% of our stuff you can stream in the app.
Yeah, you bet on it, then you can watch it on the app, and then it's off and running. It makes no sense how sound the tech is for you guys. It makes no sense.
We have more stream. We probably stream more sporting events if you include horse racing than anybody else out there.
What do you mean anybody else out there?
Just any other company, right? Because if you think about like the number of horse races that get streamed every year, like it's a massive number.
Oh, we've learned that during the beginning of quarantine. There was every 15 minutes there was a race happening somewhere.
5 tracks.
There was one day I went down a large amount of money on those horse races because I knew nothing about nothing, and I was following the boys in here, and I was like, I just had a great fall. Now some horses and ponies on the other side of the world are going to lose this thing for me.
Yeah, Zito at set his alarm at 3 a.m. the one night to wake up and bet chariot racing.
That is dedication. That is dedication.
Oh, man. FanDuel's parent company is?
Flutter Entertainment.
And Flutter Entertainment is?
Largest gaming company in the world.
Oh, that's all.
Good to know.
Oh, no big deal. Yeah. Largest parent company on it. There's been a lot of companies that have gone public in the sports gaming world. So if we would like to personally invest in FanDuel, Flutter is the public company to invest in?
Flutter would be the public company to invest in. So it includes great brands, obviously, like FanDuel, but also Paddy Power, Betfair, Sky Bet, Sportsbet, which is the biggest sports betting company in Australia.
What's that? Sportsbet?
Yep.
Oh, so that's like a sister company of ours?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Hey, shout out Sportsbet. Hey, great doing business with you down there. Let's boost some odds. Are they as friendly with the boosted odds?
They are just as friendly. We actually learned a lot from those guys and bring it to the U.S.
The boosting of odds thing is insane.
Yeah, next level.
It is awesome.
Pulisic.
Oh, Christian Pulisic is something we need to boost all the odds on. Are you guys going to put a bet out there that he's going to be the best soccer player on planet Earth within 2-3 years from now? No, not regulated. Can't get it regulated because that's an opinion-based thing. God.
Let's any ideas we'll take. We'll see what we can do.
Matt, we can't thank you enough. Big day for us, obviously. We hope we can help spread the incredible brand that is FanDuel even more. We can't thank you enough for doing business with us and for trusting us with ideas and concepts and stuff like that. Not a lot of people, by the way, not a lot of people do, especially because we're here in Indiana. So whenever we have people in New York or LA or you live in Chicago, but The conversations of us being like, well, we think this is how it should go. And they're, super highly educated people are like, well, that's not right. It's like, okay, well, we're not going to do business with you.
How you doing?
Keep it moving. You guys having faith in us, trusting us, we are so thankful.
No, look, we're big believers in what you guys have built. We love what we've done together so far, and we're looking forward to many more years of it going forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, CEO of FanDuel, incredible partner of ours, Matt King. All right, we have to get to a hard out here for hour one. Hour two, we have Matt Hasselbeck joining us to talk about all things happening in the world of football and life. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, July 8th, 2020.
Lucky to be here at the Northrop Hall with the incredible Grover crowd. College game day is having a blast here. Minnesota has shown up. Row the boat, Sky Mall, go Gophers. Let's get the axe and keep that thing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is about to lose their minds. Ladies and gentlemen, watch a man maestro a crowd like Coach Lee Corso. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Watch, now he'll say to me, works every time, what?
Every time. You just can't dog pee on a field. This obviously led to a nightmare situation for Luke Logan, who misses the extra point. An absolute pandemonium happened. But in Dwayne Haskins' defense, the Redskins and Dwayne Haskins might never win a game again. That guy's flexing like PJ Fleck a little bit. Good sells a little bit delayed. He got me the throw. Throw the flag. Sell your soul. Who hates Iowa? A lot of hate here in Minnesota, Maria. Hey, you look good, pal. For me, right after we leave this octagon, I'm going to Lake Minnetonka. I'm pulling a swordfish out of there. Then I'm going to stop by Paisley Park. I'm going to pay my respects to Prince in the Purple Rain. Then I'm going to walk into TCF Bank Stadium, and I'm going to say, M-I-N-N-E-S-O-T-A.
Let's get it. Let's go. Dream house is a tour bus. Scream loud that you knew us. Deep down, I'm the new plug. You ain't about to get too dust. Pete's frown when they crew scrubs. Sweet sound from the two subs. Beats loud as a move, bruh. Lead the crowd like, ooh, what? Long hair on the big thigh. 210s, both sitting shoddy. Crack a fit, start getting rowdy. Blowing nose, looking like an Audi. It's Uncle Sam without the taxes. Crowd stands up, I keep them loud. I made this beat, you hear it smacking? Who is 30? Hand me a nap. You probably wasn't expecting this. What? Expected this?
Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. Hour 2 kicks off in beautiful fashion. All the boys are here. At Nick Moraldo, at Tone Diggs, at Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee, Viva Lazito, Evan Foxy, and on the phones, 1-833-622-3331, which we will get to some phone calls this hour, at Boston Connor.
How we doing, boys? Matt King, great guy.
Great guy. Smart guy.
I couldn't understand the thing he was saying because the words were so big, but I know it was good.
Used a couple big words during the conversation that we had to stop him and say, excuse me, you're talking to a room full of dum-dums.
What was that word again?
Ubiquitous, which is commonplace, which, by the way, I am going to substitute that son of a bitch in on a very regular occasion, because as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, that's a big word. Yeah. Smart word. What does it mean? Now I need to use it. But Connor, I felt like you really held your own there whenever it came to the intellect department with that conversation with Matt King off the air.
Yeah, no, for sure. Off the air, I was fine. I mean, ubiquitous is ubiquitous, you know? Like, you just got to do what you do. Commonplace it up.
Absolutely dumb. Intern Mid is here as well. Joining us in about 4 minutes is Matt Hasselbeck. 17 years in the NFL, obviously. He, teammate of mine. We were in the booth on Thursday Night Football past fall. This guy, I think we have a pretty big announcement, too, for him. Like, we might be breaking some news. We'll talk to him about everything. Obviously, the Patrick Mahomes deal is one that every quarterback has aspired to get for a long, long time. It had already happened. What will it do for the future? We'll have all the classic NFL chatter with him about all that. But I just can't wait to catch up with him. I'm excited to see how he is doing. I talked to him yesterday a little bit in preparation for the show. His whole life, he's dad of the year up there. He was cooking on the grill. He's playing catch with his kid at one point. 17 years in the NFL. I can't wait to chat with him. Good friend of ours, good friend of the show. Speaking of, Matt King, who's joined us in the first hour, the CEO of FanDuel. We talked to him about the partnership that we just announced. Yeah, we announced. It actually got signed before, but it got announced officially because there were some things to clean up. By the way, this is my first contract, I don't want to say negotiation, but process through this entire thing. A lot of things have to happen. I mean, there is a lot of words in there, aside from ubiquitous, that you just look in there and you're like, now what does this mean? Can somebody break down what the hell this means to me? Yep, this is what this means. Well, why is it even in there? It means the same thing as the last sentence. Well, it's because somebody got sued in the past at some point and they had to put this in there to save it. So going through the entire process with them, I couldn't fathom doing it with any other human other than Matt King. He was so cool through the entire thing. It's almost like he wanted to, I don't want to say like, they wanted to like teach me. Like they wanted to like, he's been in business a long time. It was like, hey, like this is what you should be looking at. This is something you should definitely look at as well. And if you have anything wrong with it, definitely tell us. Like this is very normal. Like it was a very cool process through the whole thing. Thankful for obviously what FanDuel did for us. Thankful for what we're going to be able to do with FanDuel going forward for everybody that's watching. And obviously very grateful for everybody that watches and listens to everything we got going on. Intern Med is here. You look fantastic, buddy. You got kicked out of your seat there for a couple seconds for the CEO of FanDuel. But you were very gracious enough to set up the microphone. What a legend. Look at you kind of growing up in your own skin there.
Yeah, let's go. He's definitely giving up my seat for that guy.
Oh, thank you, man.
You know what? You are such a good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
You are such a good guy. You do not deserve to sit on that couch with that man, but okay.
No, easy, Connor. Easy. You're rich now, okay? Take it easy over there.
No, tough love is only turning up now.
Oh, okay, because you're now at the top of the mountain. You feel
I don't know about that, but.
All right, let's talk about the NBA's return. A picture got posted of the meal. The same thing happened with the MLS, by the way. The MLS people, guys, whenever they got down there, the MLS schedule, we learned from Tony Meola, was insane. They're going to get meals brought to their rooms, basically. You're going to be watching film in there. You can only leave to train and for the games, and you're right back. And then the meals, you always just assume, like, well, if the meals are coming, then the guys are just going to be able to pick whatever the hell they want to eat, and then they'll just come up and be like room service. Classic room service, get 3 times. But I guess when you're dealing with that large amount of people, there's probably set meals that they bring in at certain times, so everybody's kind of eating Sam. I guess that makes a lot more sense logistically wise. So the MLB put out MLS player put out a picture, and it looked bad. It looked like a Firefest meal. And then now, exactly, that was the MLS one. And it turns out that was not allegedly a meal. That was just like a holdover snack until they got officially checked in, and it was like a welcome snack. But the MLS player was like, is this what I'm going to be eating for the next 40 days? This is going to be a problem. Same thing happened with the NBA. Guy posted this photo of the meals that they were giving. And it was one of these things where you see no protein in there. Okay. You see salad, you see some watermelon, you see a shake, it looks like an airplane meal. Yeah. It looks like an airplane meal, but without the main course. That picture was posted, and it says Tuesday, July 7th dinner. You got some fresh garden greens, some arugula, watermelon, all this stuff. And that obviously hot around the internet. Isaiah Thomas even tweeted saying, I cannot wait to see LeBron James eat this for his meal. Turns out this was just a snack to hold over, I guess. They brought in a massive piece of meat on the tray later in the night that the NBA was like, excuse me, we're not eating that trash tray this entire time. So it is like we all want this to fail. Right? We all want the food, the setup to fail because it sounds so stringent. But I feel like the leagues legitimately are trying their best to make this as good as possible. But I just don't know, living in a hotel for 40, 50 days, how good it can be. And I assume there's only going to be more and more of these types of things popping up on the internet as we go here.
It's probably just startling to the players to get that, like, as even if it is just a welcome meal or whatever, to get that at, like, to see that and be like, is this what it's going to be like for at least a month?
Is this my life now? Is this what I'm eating right here? You have got to be kidding me. But what are we going to hear in 15 days, 20 days from now?
Well, and like to your point, like, you know, typically, like, I mean, those menus at like a nice resort like that are pretty big. Like if there's that many people, I think it's probably going to be like, hey, you want steak or chicken?
Yeah,
and
it's going to be like weddings.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be like wedding stuff. All right, you want steak or chicken or you would like a vegan option? Okay, this is what we got because we got to serve 1,000 people here every single 3 times a day, every single night, which I would assume some of those bigger hotels are ready to go and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But some of those smaller hotels that maybe the MLS is at or maybe the bottom tier of the NBA.
The WNBA.
That is going to be in a wild scene. And you're getting paid a lot of money to play basketball. I agree. Hey, I agree. But let's just talk about if you were in their shoes type situation. It's going to be interesting to unfold. I can't wait for them to come back though. Hey, 30th, and then August 1st, we got the NHL back, and then we got the MLS happening. We're rolling. July 28th, the NFL is supposed to report to their training camps. Rookies report a week earlier. But boy, let me tell you something. The next couple weeks, just like you saw with the MLB and Rob Manfred and the players, I hope not, but it does feel as if that is what is going to potentially happen with the NFL and the NFLPA. I wish it would happen behind closed doors like the NHL and the NHLPA, but it's already getting contentious on the internet. There's a lot to figure out in the NFL before they get back to restart here in this COVID-19 quarantine world. To join us in talking about that, 17-year NFL quarterback, beautiful bald-headed man, Matt Hasselbeck.
Mr. Hasselbeck in the house, y'all. Hey, you always cheat me on that other year, Pat. It was 18 years. You don't count that year I was playing practice squad tight end for the Green Bay Packers.
People forget.
It's not on your stats.
That was his rookie year, I'd assume, right? Is that your rookie year?
Yeah, my rookie year, the quarterbacks, Andy Reid was the quarterbacks coach. We had Brett Favre, we had Doug Peterson, we had Rick Meyer, and then me. Yeah. So Andy Reid was like, listen, there's nothing for you to do at practice. Do you mind being on our practice squad, and do you mind playing scout team tight end every week? And you can come to quarterback meetings. Don't worry. You get to hear what we say to Brett Favre. But basically, you're going to play tight end in practice. And I was like, yeah, cool, man. No sweat. I did that when I was 12 in Pop Warner. The problem was the Green Bay Packers starting defensive end that I was blocking most of the time was Reggie White. So that was
Reggie White was not getting better, but I'm happy that you were. I wish Andy Reid would have just told Brett Favre what a nickel defense was, though, in the middle of one of those meetings. You know what I mean? I feel like that story has become legendary. What was said in those quarterback meetings?
Listen, just like when I took French in high school, and there was a time when basically the teacher was like, you know, does anybody have any questions? And I was so far away from even understanding what she was talking about that I was too embarrassed to ask the question. And so that happens a lot of times in quarterback rooms. Quarterback coach will go up there and be like, all right, 35% of the time they're in the under front. We're going to call it a 25 front, strong dog, 3-fire zone. Any questions? And you're like, I'm too embarrassed. I don't know the difference between 42 queen and 25 under. And so Brett Favre, even though he was the starting quarterback, he felt the exact same way. And finally, he had a good enough relationship with his backup quarterback at the time, Ty Detmer. He was like, yo, Ty, can I ask you a question, man? Can I ask you a question? What do they mean about nickel defense? He's like, for real? That just means they take a linebacker out, they put an extra DB in, 5 DBs. He's like, that's it? Just a nickel? That's it? That's why it's nickel? He's like, yep. And so, you know, it's still 11 on 11 in Brett's mind. But the point is that sometimes it's important that you got a buddy you can ask that question to. You don't want to ask in front of the whole class.
Okay, funny you say that because Patrick Mahomes, I believe it was on LeBron's barber shop
The Shop. Yeah.
The Shop on HBO. He said that it wasn't until like last season, midway through the season, that he kind of had an idea what defenses were going to do. He'd already won an MVP at this point. He was on his way to win a Super Bowl without knowing it and becoming the wealthiest quarterback in the history of North American sports, basically. And he said he didn't even fully understand what the defense was doing until about halfway. And he said he can still learn on that. Are we anywhere near Patrick Mahomes' ceiling? And do you think that this deal is only going to look better and better as we go forward?
Well, just to address the first thing that you asked, yeah, this is exactly what happens in kind of the Bill Walsh, Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid systems. They bring in these rookie quarterbacks and they throw everything at them. They know that they're not going to be able to understand it all. They know that it's going to be ugly. It's not going to go well, and they're not going to know what they're doing. From what I have heard, they did that to Patrick Mahomes. They just threw it all at him. They said, all right, let's just see what sticks. Let's measure him up. He had no idea. He was clueless, and yet he still threw 5 touchdowns in like the first scrimmage that they had or the first period that they had. So they knew they had something special, and I just think that probably what happens is like once you can put it all together, when you know what your offense is doing, then you know what the defense is doing, and then you couple that with your talent. That's when you have something special, and he's going to keep improving. But just a quick quarterback thing, I think what does happen sometimes, you do see guys regress a little bit when you forget that these guys are human. And sometimes you can put too much on the plate of the quarterback, and that's why you see great quarterbacks sometimes not play very good football.
You think Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if anything kind of hints at this potentially happening, but when you sign the largest deal in the history of North American sports, like there comes some sort of like expectation in this entire thing. Do you think there's a chance that Patty Mahomes comes in next year a little bit tighter than he usually is? Because I think him being loose is what makes him Showtime. Like that is what makes Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes. I guess you're alluding to the fact that there's a chance that could happen, obviously, because this is a human after all.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll happen this year. And especially, I really think the world of Andy Reid. Obviously I'm a little bit biased because he was, essentially the only guy that really showed up for my personal pro day. And I got drafted to the Green Bay Packers in large part because of him. Really? But the fact that Andy has coached other big personalities and other guys that have lived this life a little bit, guys like Brett Favre, even Donovan McNabb in Philly, Michael Vick, just like he's been around, like the wealth of experiences that Andy Reid has had dealing with these types of guys and these kinds of issues. I think that, that the Eric Bieniemy plus Andy Reid plus Patrick Mahomes, I'm not too concerned about it. That the talent is there. I think that this is just, the future is really bright for everybody in Kansas City.
How do you stop them? You just got to hope that contracts come up and they can't pay everybody, or because Andy Reid and Veach have a great history of drafting well too. So it's like this team seems to be set up for a dynasty, and that's what he said in his announcement video. Is like, hey, we're not just looking to win, like we're looking to build a dynasty here, and that is quite a lofty expectation. But you look at that team, you're like, they might be able to do it. That team might literally be able to do it.
Yeah, but you also know that this is football. This isn't like other sports. And you saw, I think it was a quarterback sneak where Patrick Mahomes just simply, trying to get a couple inches and all of a sudden dislocates his kneecap or whatever it was, and then he's out for a little bit. So it's highly competitive. And sometimes, listen, the best team that I was ever on, I really feel like we had the best team in football in 2005. We didn't win the Super Bowl, and we didn't deserve to win the Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers won it, but I feel like we were the best team. The best team in football does not always win the Super Bowl. And I think that's a lesson that's been learned by a lot of teams over the years. And, Pat, I got to Indy with you as teammates, and just hearing the stories of guys. One of the years you did not go to the Super Bowl was 2005, and the Steelers ended up winning that Super Bowl. And there's a feeling in that locker room, at least when I was there, was we let one get away that year because we had them on the ropes at our place. And anyway, I think there's just so much that goes into actually winning a Super Bowl. So you could have the best team on paper, but that doesn't really matter.
2009 was the best football team I've ever seen. A team that we went undefeated or whatever. And I've watched a lot of teams, by the way. I have literally watched a lot of teams. Front row seat to a lot of good teams. And boy, that 2009 team, when we lose to Drew Brees and his baby, that year, that team was so good. I thought first half, halftime, we're up I'm like, I'm 22 years old. I'm going to have a Super Bowl ring and I have money for the first time. This is going to be hysterical. This is going to be hysterical. And then obviously, onside kick, pick six, everything like that, Drew Brees, everything starts rolling and we lose.
And listen, that's a good point. And you guys had Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. You got Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, Peyton Manning,
so
Andrew
good.
James,
Dallas Clark,
Bob
Sanders,
Still, you don't get it done. Tony Dungy, all of it.
Tony Dungy wasn't there. Have a little respect for Jim Caldwell. Jeez.
My bad.
Oh, my God.
On the team?
But even along those lines, that coaching staff that Tony Dungy had, it's a Hall of Fame coaching staff. You mentioned Jim Caldwell, probably the most underrated head coach. That when you think about guys that don't get enough credit, I think probably because he didn't talk a lot when the camera would come to him on his headset. He's doing a lot of listening, not a lot of talking. Guys who talk a lot seem to get a lot of credit. Guys who listen a lot don't get credit.
Ooh, hey, that was some deep stuff right there, Matt.
These are things that sometimes happen, just the perception of it. But people who know that the coaching staff that team in 09 had was, obviously a very impressive group.
Let's talk about listening a lot. So if you're the NFL and the NFLPA, you just watch the NHL and the NHLPA operate behind closed doors, somehow in a league that messes a lot of things up the NHL in the past, gets it right. Very quiet. You don't hear a lot of public disagreement. You don't have the entire public perception being like, well, we hate both of them, like what happened in the MLB. The MLB, everything was happening publicly. Now, granted, baseball is back, and I guess it can be forgotten about, but it was a very nasty negotiation there to get back into baseball and to figure it all out. It feels like, and you and I talked about this literally yesterday, and your first thought about it all was my exact tweet, which was, I hope this is all happening behind closed doors. It's not going to happen behind closed doors. There's already owners leaking information to network people who are putting things out. Then there's players coming out. We potentially have a very contentious next couple weeks here in the NFL. I just need to remember, and I think everybody needs to remember, there will be a season. They will figure it out, but it is going to get gloom and doom and ugly, I think, for the next couple weeks. And when those things happen, I would like somebody to remind me there will be a season that'll happen.
Hey, man, we're all hopeful. But I think the problem in this situation is just that, you have NFL owners, you have NFL head coaches, and you have NFL players. They're used to being heard and listened to. And this virus, quite honestly, just doesn't care how much money they have in the bank account. They don't care how many followers you have on social media. That doesn't matter. So, Pat, when we were calling football games on Thursday night with Adam Amin, which is a blast. There was something that Adam Amin said to us. It was kind of a coaching point because we didn't know what we were doing. We were novices. We were just in there just like, looking good but behind the camera. But we didn't know what we were saying. When we would go to a team that was a no-huddle team, like a hurry up offense, Adam Amin would say to us, hey, listen, usually we get to dictate the tempo of the game, but not tonight. This is a no-huddle college football hurry-up team. They dictate the tempo, and we have to play to their rules tonight. And I think it's the same kind of thing with this, with the pandemic and with the NFL. We can all, collectively bargain at the union, the NFLPA, the NFL. We could talk about revenue share and putting money in escrow and paying for it. Doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter. We don't dictate the tempo of this. So really what we need is we basically need the pandemic to slow down. We need to come up with safe workplace protocols. And then what the two sides can do is put player health and safety first. And basically what that means is like, listen, whether it's testing or tracing or, treatment, whatever it is, if a guy gets hurt, like what happens to him then? Is he going to go on some sort of injured reserve? How are we going to protect the players, their health and safety, their families? You know it, Pat. A lot of the guys are young. A lot of people are having babies for the first time. A lot of people have, just like the rest of the community, no different. You're bringing your work home in a sense when it's health and safety in this situation. So I don't know. We'll see. We're all hopeful, man. I know that.
I am so hopeful. I did a couple right question marks at the end because not only obviously COVID. Now, granted, if the NFL can't figure it out, and I don't know if they'll be able to do, the NHL is doing 2 hub cities. Mm-hmm. The NBA is doing a hub city. The NFL can't do that, but MLB's figured it out, right? So if the MLB has somehow figured it out, hopefully the NFL will be able to also figure it out. So when it comes to that COVID-19, I don't know if the MLB is going to be successful, by the way.
Well, listen to this. Let's talk, instead of comparing baseball and MLS and, basketball to football, let's compare NFL to NCAA, because that to me is the most fascinating. They're kind of on similar timelines.
There's no chance college football. I don't think it starts on time. I don't think it starts on time, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing. These freshmen have shown up, okay? Sometime in July here. Most of these freshmen have been on campus for maybe 2 weeks, and they're quarantined. They're on empty college campuses. They're in an 8-person suite by themselves, and these coaches, these kids are like little guinea pigs. Like, hey, you're going to be locked in your dorm. We'll bring you a food. You don't get to go outside. If you know what, we'll tell you what. We'll give you 90 minutes of fresh air. You get to go for a walk on campus. You can't leave.
Oh, you get to go to the yard.
Family.
Nice.
Oh, it's very nice of them to let them out in the yard. Yeah, that's terrible.
So listen, I think there are so many people that really want college football to happen. So I think we're going to look at basically the success that college football is having paralleled with what the NFL is doing. And, one of them's got to be successful. I don't know if both of them will be successful, but one of them's got to work.
Well, I'm excited for them to tell, Aaron Rodgers and boys that they got to go sack up in a 8-person suite and we'll bring you food. I don't know how that's going to go, Matt. I don't know.
Right. And that's kind of my point, is that, you can't do that with the NFL guys, nor do you have to. Now, NFL rosters are a lot smaller, so I don't know the answer. I don't know if it's more likely that there's NFL or if it's more likely that there's NCAA. The NFL has a union working on their behalf that's going to basically fight for the best workplace conditions. So that's important, okay? But then on the flip side, you can literally isolate and quarantine these college kids, and you've got 100-something kids on the roster. You might have 5 or 6 quarterbacks on your roster. So if 4 guys get sick or hurt, you've got other guys to go to. Most NFL teams have 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks to go to. This is the thing. Even though football is football, it's really not. These are 2 very, very unique situations. They both could succeed, they both could fail, or one could succeed and one could fail.
Well, I'll tell you what, looking you right in the face right now, like I've always said, Matt Hasselbeck's going to succeed. Do you have Do you have any announcements you'd like to make about your life?
I don't know if there's room for 2 announcements today, man. I'm really happy for you. It reminded me, you having this chip on your shoulder. It reminded me of Talladega Nights, where someone said to you one time, hey, if you're not first, you're last, and you took it as a life mission. I don't know, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you. And even you feel like you might have had some haters who thought you shouldn't walk away from football. You had some friends that didn't think you should walk away from football. I mean, I'm sitting there when I heard the announcement. You had actually told me it was a Monday Night Football game. You were playing the New York Jets maybe 2 years before that. I was just walking on the street.
No, it was. Oh yeah, it was that. It was the year though that I was going to retire. It was after Thanksgiving.
I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And you were like, oh, I think I'm going to hang him up. And I'm like, that would be the stupidest dude. You're the top of your game. You're the best. You're one of the best kickers in the game, and you're not even a kicker. You are one of the best punters in the game. And just even your friends thought, wow, man, that's a risky move. Comedy will always be there. All this other stuff will always be there. But we're all happy for you, man. Even though it was a dangerous move. It was a risky move.
Oh, see, I was going to celebrate what you said there. And then you kind of went back. It was, by the way, it was rather risky. But the state of the internet, getting real estate on the internet, the timing of it, it could have failed completely. But I did know that there was a rocket launcher still attached to this thing. You know what I mean? I knew there was it's still there, by the way. If this thing all crashes down somehow, and if sports come back, we could still potentially be in the top 32 in the world of punting balls. I hope. I just hope so.
There's also something called cartilage in that knee that doesn't.
I'll tell you what, they are old. So no announcements from you today, though? Nothing?
You know what? I think I should hold off.
Josh McCown promised us yesterday. Josh McCown said whenever he makes a decision, he will say it on this show.
So
and Josh McCown didn't travel around on Thursday nights.
No.
College towns everywhere.
With all of us.
We didn't do any of that. I mean, that's Josh McCown being like, yeah, we'll do that for you guys. Hasselbeck here, just sitting on a curveball.
I have a deal about to be announced. Don't worry. It'll be announced soon. I don't know when.
Who's announcing it?
I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, man.
Oh, you're talking about my thunder?
Yeah, your Thunder.
No, don't you worry about that. Thunder and Lightning is already
maybe
come.
I'll announce it at your rehearsal dinner coming up here.
Okay.
Ooh.
There we go. All right, there we go. We'll have a camera on. Ladies and gentlemen, 18-year NFL quarterback and tight end. Good friend of ours. Big announcement coming soon. Matt Hasselbeck. Thank you. You're the best, Matt.
See you, Mr. Hasselbeck.
See you guys.
See you, Mr. Hasselbeck. You're so friendly, Zito.
There's not one site on the internet that has that first year.
What's that?
There's not.
Don't try to cover yourself up
Wikipedia,
here.
Pro Football Reference.
Oh, you're talking about ruining his stats?
Yeah. There's not one site on the internet that has that 18th year.
Well, that's why we're supposed to be better.
Yeah.
Diggs.
That's right.
And what have you done? You set me up to fail with one of my friends,
Yeah.
Diggs. Diggs, by the way, is the guy that does this thing for each day. It's basically all the
run of show.
all the run of show. If you want to zoom in, he had one of his best performances today on this thing. I don't know if you can zoom in. Which one, Foxy?
Big one right here.
This one? I don't know if you can read that. It just says Desean Jackson ... That's what it says. No thoughts, no nothing like that. Just like, hey, have to cover this. Didn't talk about it yesterday, and don't even know what to say here. He was quoting Hitler. So that's kind of a tough situation. We addressed it in the first hour going into a commercial break. Then we got into an incredible conversation. The reason why we didn't talk about that yesterday is because I literally thought it was fake. I thought he got hacked. Like, I thought somebody went into his account and said, how do you ruin somebody's life? This is how you do it. This is a creative, different way to do it than everybody else has done it. So whenever I saw it all happen, I was like, there's no way that's actually Desean Jackson. Like, let's let the facts kind of play out here a little bit. And then whammy, as the facts did roll out, it was in fact him. And then now there's some people sticking up for it. It's like, yo, this is not, hey, this is, I understand we're in a time where people are making big statements and we're trying to change the world for the better, though. And we're trying to come together. That is not a guy that should be brought into any conversations at all. I mean, you're talking about ruin a mustache, that guy.
Yeah.
Haircut, see ya. Mustache, see ya. First name, see ya. Last name, don't mention it, because one of the most despicable human probably to ever exist. Just something to think about. So that's why we didn't address it yesterday, because I thought it was fake. And, the internet, you're going to get got sometimes. And I have gotten got before. I've retweeted a tweet because Diggs told me to. Yep. That was allegedly real. I've done that a few times. In this particular case, I thought it wasn't real. And then it turned out it was. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is unbelievable the time we're in. But hey, it's 2020, and I expect more and more stuff to come out. Hopefully everybody can educate themselves and become a smarter person. And hopefully the world can come together in a beautiful fashion. And that's all I really... Oh, Zito. Zito. Zito's lower third. He told us he was excited for it. You talk about Desean Jackson today. I got a good lower third for you. Hey, Desean Jackson not hacked, but big Hitler quote guy. Never thought you'd say that, by the way.
I never thought I'd say that
about
myself.
any human in the history of existence.
That's how bad it is.
But hey, he'll
read this.
Hopefully he'll
like how he read.
Hopefully, all right. Hopefully he gets educated on the entire thing, It's a wild time to be alive. Wild time to be alive. We have to get to a break 26 minutes after the hour. Matt Hasselbeck just talked about all the pressures potentially on old Patrick Mahomes as a human. Because you don't think about that as a human. Just got the biggest contract in the history of North American sports. I mean, that's awesome. First thing you say is, that's awesome. And then next you go like, okay, now I got to make sure that people know why I got this deal. I'm intrigued to see if we can pull it off. And if we have sports. We'll talk about that, take some calls, and more on the other side. This is 27 minutes after the hour. This is the Pat McAfee Show. There's a grown man with face paint on. So you're Big Nut.
I am, and you're Little Nut.
Well, I've had a few of those in my life. Hey, I'll tell you what, Big Nut. I hope to find you one day on my wedding night. Big Nut!
Little Nut!
You did a great job, too. The lines are straight. No DUI problem there. You're really doing a great job here, sir. Hey, Big Nut, I love everything you're about, bud.
Because we are going to win the game.
He just spit in my mouth while saying that. The most likely team to make the college football playoff is the team that is in Columbus. He said khakis
are way too close to that team from up north. If you don't put black pants on right now, you're going to get booed out of Columbus. So I went with the black. Makes me look thin. And whenever I say 2 letters, the place goes crazy. OH! Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie George. That offense, though, led by Justin Fields. He has 41 touchdowns accounted for, only 1 turnover. I don't know how he isn't the Heisman favorite right now.
Well, he certainly has a chance to make a stick at that today, certainly next week.
He's supposed to be in Penn State Navy Lion. And Mike McQuarrie told me I wasn't Penn State material.
Okay, Herbie was your quarterback. He was a senior. You were a freshman. What was he like as a teammate?
Oh, he was great, man. Big shoulder pads. Kurt could run for days back in the day. Back in the day.
Single bone in my body. Steve, how you doing, boss man? They're down 6-1. She wants to flex on the gram. He says, lady, we are getting slaughtered by the Pittsburgh Penguins. No. Do
I do it too? I thought I need to do this.
If you're listening to this show right now, and you are, I want you to take a second and look down. When was the last time you shaved your junk? It's been a while, don't lie. Let's take a second to thank our sponsor Manscaped for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shave your junk. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene and is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 Essentials Kit, the perfect tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, which is a waterproof, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. And of course, let's not forget about the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits, right? So why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body?
That's a great question.
It really is.
People should be asking that question more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you purchase the new Perfect Package 3.0 kit at Manscaped.com, you get the biggest bang for your buck. Subscribers get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not 1, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AMERICA at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped.com and use code AMERICA. Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you.
Attaboy, Ty. It's good read there, Ty. All right, let's get some phone calls here. Let's go to Will in Denver. What's going on, Will?
What's going on, Pat? Congratulations on everything going on.
Thank you, William. It's because of fine people like you that any of it happened, so we appreciate you, Will. What do you want to talk about, brother?
I want to talk about UFC. I know you guys are a big UFC show.
Big UFC, big fighting show. Big fighting show. Maybe that's why I subbed the
Yep.
F word for.
Ooh.
So I want to talk about some of the undercard and talk about Paige Van Zandt.
Motherfucker.
Right?
Maybe.
Paige.
That's perfect.
Sorry, well, I don't want to interrupt you
Hello.
there. I just
stumbled across
had to
gold.
stumble to something. I am so sorry. Let me write that down. Substitute fight for. All right. Fight. Okay. Sorry. Let's get to it. Paige Van Zandt. We're going to Fight Island. Is this locks, Will? Is that what we got here?
Oh yeah, Fight Island. But we're going against Paige Van Zandt because she hasn't fought since 2019 January, and she is 1-3 in her last fights.
Oh, so you're saying a little
she's
bit.
going against Rebus, who is a minus 900.
Jeez.
Now that's unheard of. That is unheard of in the UFC.
why
They're
would we
trying
bet
to
on it?
force Paige Van Zandt out of the UFC because this is her final fight. So they're looking.
Can't do it. I mean, the guy just gave us a minus 900 lock. This is like old buddy from Vegas, whatever his name is.
Oh, Vegas Dave.
Vegas
whale
Dave.
play.
Whatever he's giving minus 1500s on bets. What's that?
Actually, on FanDuel Sportsbook, she's minus 950.
Yeah, we know she's going to win. I mean, so does everybody.
Take that 50K.
Hey, you know what, Will? Hey, good bet,
Hey,
Will.
yeah,
Hey,
boy,
good bet.
Will.
That's smart money. Maybe put that 50K,
Yeah, I'll
maybe
get like
make $100
150 back.
I'm going underdog on that.
Let's go to Louis in Massachusetts. I like Will's passion there, though.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anybody could look at a sports book and see minus 900 and say, you know what? This is the one that's going to win right here.
Lock it up.
That's literally lock it up. Let's go to Louis in Massachusetts. What's going on, Louis?
Nothing much. What's going on with you, Pat?
Just hanging out, pal. Is everybody up there in Masso, or is some good people up there?
I mean, like, I am Boston. I mean, Connor is. We had a nice conversation about Cam Newton, how he's bringing us 7 championships. So this morning's been pretty electric already.
He probably
We're going
is.
to. We're going to.
All right, get it back on your phone. All right, what do you want to talk about, Louis?
All right, Pat. Well, I'm from Massachusetts, but next year I'm actually going to beautiful Bloomington. I'll be at the University of Indiana for sports broadcasting. So basically my question is there any advice you'd give a kid starting out? But also, everyone seemed kind of against you in, like, the video this morning that you posted. So, like, how'd you deal with that mindset and that adversity?
Great question, Louis. I mean, that's deep dive. I think you're already on your way to potentially being a great sports broadcaster with a great question there. I don't know anything about broadcasting school. I never went. I do not know anything about broadcasting school. I do know that I would assume that you learned some things that we did not get to learn, and we just kind of had to pick up through, mistakes and stuff like that. I would say just keep going. Like, I think that is the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, like social media is a big deal nowadays. Like having people know who you are as opposed to just a network that you're on is a massive deal. It's like, I think if you look around on a lot of the TV, the old school media, there's a lot of people on there that are famous, right? But I'm not sure any of them have a real connection with anybody because they don't invest time into people that are paying attention, right? And that's the biggest thing with social media is like you're building like your friends almost. Like for me, I view my social media following as like a family, a team, like as a group. And now my Twitter isn't as good as it used to be. And to be honest, whenever you're smaller, Twitter's a lot more fun than whenever it's bigger because every single thing you say is going to attract people that either hate you or anything like that. But I think engaging with them is a big deal to kind of get, a little bit of a ride and a little bit of move so you can become your own business as opposed to just relying on somebody else hiring you. And don't become a robot. I feel like in those broadcasting schools, everybody becomes the exact same person. It's like, that is not the world that we're in right now. So don't do that. And when it comes to people, saying bad things about me, how did I handle it? Oh, I love that. Like that is, I've since I'm like 6 years old, I've enjoyed that type of stuff. It's just something that, I watched like what Michael Jordan did. And I don't like make up encounters in like restaurants to like do that type of stuff. But boy, if something is said, it doesn't like make me angry or anything. It's just one of those things where I put it aside and I'm like, all right, let's remember this mother fighter whenever everything starts popping off. You know what I mean? Like, let's remember this one whenever things get going. And it's not like even like Mike Wilbon's the first public one I've ever done. But there has been some very hilarious private celebrations about somebody seeing something that I've done, having to look at it and having to swallow that. And who knows if they even remember what they've said. Like I've had teachers tell me that I was going to work at a gas station at my own high school. So like the people who are supposed to be like encouraging and like telling you to be your best, they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You're going to end up working at a gas station. It's like, that's the type of stuff where I'm like, oh, is that right? Okay, let me go ahead and put that right here in the back pocket and I'm going to go and get it. And then that's the stuff for me that like in the end is a part of like, okay, that was really nice to prove that person wrong, and they know they're an idiot now, and that makes me feel good. I don't even have to say anything about it. But also the fulfillment of it all is just worth anything that gets said by anybody. I mean, it's just, you just got to keep going, brother. Just keep on going. Those broadcasting schools, though, I think they potentially make everybody the exact same. And there's only so many jobs. So I don't want to be the guy that tells you not to go, but hey, don't go to that.
If you can somehow find an environment like we have here, I would recommend that, because it should be fun too.
It should be a good time. I feel like everybody thinks everything is like brain surgery at this point, because whenever you go to school and you invest all that time and money into it, you get to this point where you're like, this is a perfected craft and we got to do this. It's like, sports are a celebration. We're talking about sports. Let's just keep it moving here. I don't know what we're doing, because I think everything has gotten so serious. And that was one of the things when I retired I noticed about commentators. They're like they're acting as if the game is literally curing like COVID-19. Like, this is a celebration. This is a game. This is a sport. Like, that's how it should be treated. And I think that is a mindset that you should never lose, because I think whenever you get in there, it might get to a point where you get a bit jaded about sports, or like you're told to do this and this. I think that's not what sports are. Sports are an outlet for people and an escape and almost a good time as opposed to something super serious.
Yeah, I think those schools teach you like how to be like the local sports guy and like how to read a teleprompter and stuff like that, which is great. Just don't become a robot.
Breaking news. We are live at the scene of the crime. It is alleged that Pat went into the canal right here. We'll be here 24 hours today, broadcasting live on any new updates. Back to you in the studio. He went into the canal? Yeah, it is alleged. We're back on the other side. That is, I think, what the broadcasting potentially is, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's greats that have come out of these broadcasting schools. Obviously, there's greats that come in there. But I do feel like they try to create the same person. And it's like, that is the exact opposite of what we need.
They definitely do. That's why, like, if you ever listen to a newscaster speak, they all speak in the same cadence. That is taught to literally eliminate dialects and regionalism, so you can get a job anywhere.
See, that ain't going down in here.
No, it ain't going.
40 minutes after the hour, we got to get to our second break here for radio. Dumbest show of all time. Dumbest show of all time. Big news we broke this morning. We've extended and grew our relationship with FanDuel. Multi-year deal, exclusive deal. Pretty pumped up about it. It was a hilarious video that we put out this morning. A little tearjerker, some people have said. It was an emotional day, emotional voyage we've been on. And also, Uncle Sam and Twine released this. Oh, man. 41 minutes after the hour, we're back. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Hello, sensual piano keys. You sound incredibly inspirational and motivational. Big announcement coming from our company. Throughout my entire life, I've made decisions that people have said, "Ooh, that is stupid." You've read about them. You heard about them. When I was in high school, I went to an underground poker game, won $1,400, flew myself down to Miami, won a kicking contest, and got a scholarship to West Virginia the next day. I turned my back on soccer that day. Everybody said, "You're an idiot. Why are you doing that? You have more schools looking at you for soccer than you do for football. What are you thinking?" Fast forward 8 years with the Indianapolis Colts, and I was on top of the world, top of the mountain. How's the view? Not too shabby. And when I was at the top of my game, I decided, you know what? I'm going to pursue some other stuff. My friends and I are going to go to work on the internet. We're going to try to chase fulfillment as opposed to just a paycheck. And there were some interesting responses from people of power in the sporting world.
Make them tear the uniform off of you. Sure. Look, somebody needs to stage an intervention. People who know this guy, get to him now. Make him put his helmet back on and get to camp.
Oh, no, there's no intervention, Wilbon. No, no, no. Here we are 3 years after that date, and it's a celebration, bitches. Cut the music. Let's hand out some bags to the boys. For the boys. For the boys. By the way, that's for you, brother.
Oh my God.
Are you home? All right, come out the front door.
What's up, dude?
this? What's this?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
What the fuck?
Fuck you.
Oh, yeah. That is the bag of money.
FanDuel deal went through. There's $50,000 in there for you. Here's a backpack with $50,000 in it. Well, $50,000 in there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so there's $50,000 in there. Yeah, so there's $50,000.
Are you fucking serious?
Let's go.
Did you rob a bank?
Oh, man. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yo, this is...
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, dude.
We did it?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, it's a fuck ton of money.
You guys.
When I asked Dan Patrick for some advice, he told me always take care of the boys.
Well, and you should know those people that are there with you, that their value cannot be overstated and should not be overstated.
So Mike Wilbon, they didn't hold my jersey on me. They didn't hold my helmet on me. We didn't have an intervention. What we have is a celebration. Because when you bet on yourself, sometimes you hit for big. And for us, the only place we'll bet for the next couple years in an exclusive deal, FanDuel backed the Brinks truck up to our office, and we have never been more thankful, more excited, and more together as we promote the greatest sports book on planet Earth.
My name is Lyman Zerga. My name is Lyman Zerga. Now more than ever. No, I can't do it.
We need people with the right skills to support our communities, especially the frontline workers who provide resource and care for those most in need. To help, LinkedIn is offering free job posts for healthcare and essential service organizations that need to quickly fill critical roles with the people who help us all. If you're hiring for one of these organizations, job posts on LinkedIn can help you quickly find... Music change there a little bit.
Threw you off.
Don't let it distract you, Z.
I know Nick did it on purpose.
It's the same song.
It was on repeat, I do believe. It just kind of started. No? Same song, dude. Just dropped out a little bit. Have a little respect for the game, dude.
Come on, Z.
Some DJ really...
Battle adversity, Z.
Yeah, bro. Have a little respect, Z.
I'll battle through this.
Sure feels like you're not. Feels like you've tapped out.
Find the right people for your front line. LinkedIn can help you find frontline workers from its active community of over 675 million members.
Wow.
That's one more than 674 million. People forget. LinkedIn job screens candidates for the skills and experience you're looking for and puts your job posts in front of qualified people who met your requirements. So you can find the right person to quickly fill critical roles. To post a healthcare or essential service job for free, or they bunched that in. The font is
come on.
Is too close.
I mean, that is not ubiquitous. There.
Oh, come on!
Nah,
trying to indemnify.
That's a commonplace.
It's unbelievable what they're trying to do to you.
To
song is over, by the way. 3-minute song, done. One ad.
Visit LinkedIn.com/bet. That's LinkedIn.com/bet. Terms and conditions may apply.
Yeah, boys. Way to go, Z. A couple days ago, actually for the last couple weeks, I've been banging a drum rather hard that for the first time ever, the United States of America has the guy in soccer. Yeah, I know Cristiano Ronaldo has made $1 billion and he's very good. And I know Messi is next level. Mbappe, he's going to be good. But America has the guy. I've been saying it for a long time, actually only a couple weeks because I didn't really know he existed before then, but I watched him one time and I said, we got a guy. We got the guy. Mm-hmm. The Brits came after me on the internet when I said this. They came after me hard. The European folks that follow along and don't follow along came after me, told me I was an idiot and all this stuff. Basically same narrative. Here we sit 2.5, 3 weeks later, and the rest of the world starting to wake up. Christian Pulisic's the best player on planet Earth in soccer. Yeah. Cannot wait. Dude scored another goal yesterday. Chelsea has won every Premier League match that he has scored in. By the way, 3 of the last 4 he's had a goal, and in the one he didn't score, he drew a penalty for his team to score. I mean, Christian Pulisic is currently unstoppable. He's 21 years old. He's 5'5", and he runs a 4.2 40. The guy is the guy for the next 10 years in soccer, and I can't wait for the United States to win a World Cup on the shoulders of that guy and also young Gio Reyna. I mean, we are now on top in the soccer world, and nobody on earth would have ever expected that, especially when they didn't even make the World Cup the last time it came around. The women's national team, unbelievable. Always has been. U.S. women's national team, really awesome to watch them just dominate the rest of the world in a sport that the rest of the world cares about a lot more than us. But I'll tell you what, young, handsome Christian Pulisic, he can maybe bring a little bit of a lightning rod to the soccer fandom here in America because he is unfighting believable.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, the first 6 matches back since break, he's got 3 goals and then also drawn 2 penalties. So almost guaranteed 2026 when the World Cup is in the Americas, we win it on home soil.
We're going to have to get them tickets for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what the odds are for us to win that at FanDuel. I don't even know if they have those up because we have to qualify for the World Cup first 6 years from now.
Well, if Pulisic keeps scoring, look for probably like -600, -700.
Yeah, like that Paige Van Zandt. I mean, everybody's starting to recognize that we got the guy in soccer. And I would like to say that I've never done soccer commentary before, played a lot, never done. My first time really dabbling into soccer commentary, I was 3 weeks ahead of the rest of the world. So I don't know what that means, but maybe we just keep it moving here.
Unfortunately, FanDuel doesn't have any odds yet for the 2026 World Cup, but they do have odds to qualify for the 2022 World Cup, and the U.S. is -260.
Grab it.
Right
Christian
now.
Pulisic will put the team on his back and win that whole thing. Now, granted, could he get hurt? Maybe.
No.
Maybe. Dude's durable, though. He does look tiny, though. I mean, he looks like just a little guy. But he flies around there, and he's beating the hell out of the English, which I like a lot.
Messi's a big guy.
No, Messi's small. Soccer, you got to be small.
Absolutely.
You're running 10 miles. He's unbelievable over there, though. The way they talked that first game I watched him play, which was, 2 weeks ago, the way they talked about him, like, the American plays soccer pretty good. This was after he scored a goal and outran everybody on the team or whatever. Like, he kicked the ball pretty good, like the way they're talking about him. And then now it's becoming like, hey, this guy is becoming a real force over here in the Premier League. Never happened before for an American to come in and just dominate like that. Tim Howard went over there and played well, obviously, but this is the first time we've had a guy in the Premier League just go over there and dominate, and I can't thank Christian Pulisic enough for doing that because he's the best player on earth, and now we got the guy. We're allowed to say we got the guy, which isn't normal. I don't think it is.
Yeah, man, the closest was Dempsey, and he was nothing like.
Great rapper, though.
Oh, yeah. Don't tread on me.
Dude, Dempsey had bars, and he was very good. He was very, very good. But this kid is just next level, and he's 21 years old. The future is bright for American soccer. Does anybody care?
We do.
We think we do now because we got the guy.
We got the guy.
I would like the guy to know that we care. Hey, we care about you. We got the guy. All right, let's get to a phone call here. Let's go to Sydney in Wisconsin. What's going on, Sydney? All right, let's go. We only got like a minute left. Let's go to Aaron in Ohio. Sorry about that, Sydney. Honestly, a little bit slow on the draw there. Aaron, what's going on?
Hey, Pat. How's it going? Congratulations on the FanDuel deal.
Thank you. We appreciate it immensely, obviously. What do you want to talk about, brother?
So I just wanted to ask you why nobody is talking about the Atlanta Falcons as a potential landing spot for quarterbacks, because Matt Ryan is 35 years old at this point, and their only real backup is Matt Schaub, who is 39 years old.
Aaron, great question. Didn't they just fire their entire coaching staff last year?
Should have. They did not.
Did they? No, I think they did.
Head coach.
Yeah, Dan Quinn is still there.
Yeah, but I'm saying they fired everybody else,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
So I think that is probably the reason why is because obviously 28-3 happened, and then they've kind of spiraled out of control, and now nobody knows what to expect them because they've literally fired every other coach other than Dan Quinn. So nobody knows what's going to happen with them. They still have Julio Jones, which is quite a recruiting tool, I'd assume, for a big-name quarterback if they want to go there. But in that NFC South for the next couple of years, it's going to be tough sledding, but maybe the Falcons can pull it off with a brand new coaching staff. Who knows? Matt Ryan's still good at football, I guess, down there, is what they say.
He's got a lot of years left on his contract.
9 first-round picks on the offense right now.
And I think their defense is very athletic, and if they can figure out how to play, they'll be in a good spot. Maybe the Atlanta Falcons still look for the Indianapolis Colts, probably looking for a quarterback in a couple years. The Green Bay Packers aren't looking for a quarterback in a couple years. No, they got Jordan Love for the next 15, 20. Yep. Pittsburgh Steelers, Patriots, there's a lot. Saints, Buccaneers. There's like 3-4 years here where there's going to be a lot of spots open. Yep. This has been Wednesday, July 8th here, Pat McAfee Show. We're back, manana. We can't thank you enough, radio listeners. See ya. We getting lit. Hey, we getting lit. Hey, we getting lit. Hey. So what is this song called? Stay Litty?
No, we getting lit.
We getting lit. I should have known that. We just said it like 10 times right there. Do they have a music video yet for these guys?
I don't know.
I'm lit. Uncle Sam and Twine coming together. I don't think there could be anything more beautiful.
No.
Banger.
Had to happen.
Have we heard from our English rapper?
Anansi?
Anansi. Nancy?
Anansi.
What's his name? Anansi. Hey, he goes ham. You get him on that as a remix, maybe? Oh. And then you get Year of the Buffalo, maybe.
Oh, no. Like Old Town Road. Yeah.
It may challenge We Taking Over remix for probably one of the best remixes.
Well, and also Old Town Road. I mean, you remember there was like
good.
70 of them.
It was catchy.
Billy Ray.
We taking over,
running out of town. We taking.
That was a good one. Yeah, remix Ignition. Also can't sing it because R. Kelly's a terrible guy, but that took over really one ham there for a while.
Levels.
But this one's probably going to go in. Yeah, Levels remix, very good. Yeah. Old Town Road, obviously, we just mentioned. But this one feels like it's going to be the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a great show today. I don't know if that's true. We had a great day today for us.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know how the show was, but we had a great day to remind us of everything that we talked about for the last 2 hours. Our intern who sat right next to a very intelligent man who did a lot. And by the way, didn't offend him at all.
No.
Did not fuck it up at all. Ladies and gentlemen, we should give a little bit of a hand for Mullet Minutes.
Baby Mitt.
Claps for himself, too. Respect. I like that. I clap for me, too.
All right, we started off the show today with a massive announcement. Pat officially inked a multi-year deal with FanDuel as our exclusive sports book. Despite receiving doubt from Michael Wilbon and others, Pat bet the whole house on himself and the boys, and it's paying out big.
There we go. That a boy. Wow. Good. Way to break that one down. What happened?
Twine and Uncle Sam have collabed for an absolute banger.
Yeah,
we had the CEO of FanDuel, Matt King, come into the studio, talked about his sports journey.
Nailed it.
FanDuel business principles, the great synergy between FanDuel and PMI.
Yeah.
And the process of legalizing sports gambling requires a lot of fucking reading.
Yeah. Hey, a little remix there at the end. That was a good remix.
Underground sports books are ubiquitous. But Mr. King predicts that within the next 5 years, more states than not will have legal.
Excuse me. Ubiquitous, I believe.
Is that what I said?
No, you said ubiquitous.
How'd you spell it?
I spelled it. I Google searched it.
Okay.
Had a boy.
Why are your hands trembling? Are you going through withdrawals?
Oh, you're sober right now.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Can we get the guy some booze?
Get him a bag of Franzia.
Oh, my God. Smack the bag. Not a bad. We just learned the word, so we're not going to punish you for that one. I think we let him continue, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. There you go, Mitt. Finish it off.
We had a LinkedIn ad. Good job, Diggs. We talked the MLS and NBA welcome snacks. We had 18-year NFL QB and tight end Matt Hasselbeck join the show. He talked to Patrick Mahomes' deal and the pressure that will come along with it.
Yeah.
There is a lot more to winning a Super Bowl than having a talented roster.
Really?
We went through the possibilities for both the NFL and NCAA having football this fall, and Pat's risky move from top punter in the world to now internet star. Desean Jackson's social media was not compromised. He did quote a man who should never be brought into any conversations.
Bingo. Yeah. In a positive light or like in a leadership light.
Yes.
You should be brought in a conversation where it's like, hey, terrible humans.
Don't do this.
Let's go with this guy. Yeah. Okay.
Manscaped ad. Good job as always, Ty. Pat's advice to someone who wants to get into sports broadcasting is to just keep on going. Sports are a celebration, and that's the mindset to never lose.
There it is, Mitt. Attaboy, Mitt.
We had another LinkedIn ad. Attaboy Z, battling through some adversity. Christian Pulisic is young, handsome, American, and now the guy in the soccer universe.
yeah.
Nobody knows what to expect from the Atlanta Falcons, and there will also be a lot of quarterback spots opening in the next 4 to 5 years. And that was the show.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I said 2 to 3, but not bad. Not bad, man. Look at you getting through your entire notes there. Thank you, intern Matt. Thank you, Nick, Diggs, Ty, Jason, Zito, Foxy, Boston Connor, and everybody from here, and Matt King, obviously, Matt Hasselbeck. We can't think.
Oh,
Why'd you give him another error?
What?
You just gave him another. We caught you literally red-handed while writing there.
Oh, no, I was fixing it because I forgot to add one from Monday.
Oh, okay. Very
Sounds
nice
like
of you
a
to do
Connor
that.
error.
Very,
No,
yeah, is
no.
that a Connor error?
No. No.
Do you ever make mistakes?
Do I ever make mistakes?
Yeah.
No, mistakes make me.
That's pretty true. Well,
That's the show. That is the show. From all of us, all of you, thank you. We're moving to 3 hours sometimes in August. I don't know why you guys fuck with us so hard, but we appreciate it. There's a new notification thing, I guess. You have to hit the bell to subscribe, and then all is right below it there. You have to hit all because we've seen a lot of people tell us, like, hey, we're not getting notifications when you go live. We thought we were potentially getting a little shadow ban from YouTube, and YouTube said, no, we've updated the notifications and subscribers thing. So hit all there if you want to be notified whenever we go live. And if not, just keep doing whatever the fuck you're doing. We appreciate you so much. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana! Hold it, and scene.